Good morning. Happy Friday to each and every one of you, wherever you are, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. Another beautiful day in Mesa, Arizona, with a high today of, let's call it 100 degrees. Let's say what it is. Hopefully, where you're at, it's sunny and wonderful. Let's look at the weather today. What are we looking at? Where are you guys at? Yeah, high of, oh no, not even close. High of 85 today. Not even close. High of 75 in Toronto. I don't believe it. I'm on Twitch. England is too hot. Where are we at what's the London weather right now? It's unusually cool weather for us. London is 76 degrees. Roasting over there in London. High of 83 in Montana, 60 in Washington, 80 in New Jersey. Tennessee, rain high. Oh, I love southern thunderstorms. I'm not closer to being on time. It just depends on the day. I was kind of on time today, but then Jen just wouldn't shut up. So
Right,
keep
that's exactly what
talking and
happened.
talking and talking. Good morning,
That's
Jennifer.
that's exactly what happened. It's cooler here, which is nice.
What do
I
we
think
got?
it's supposed to say a high of 75.
Ooh, you got a date
So
tonight?
I have options. I just haven't decided which one I want to go with yet.
So you have a date tonight. You just haven't picked.
I mean, I could have. Yeah, I haven't. Yes, I have a couple that have asked if I'm free. I just haven't decided which
Wait.
one I want
Well, let's talk about it.
to do.
Let's help you make that decision.
To be honest, I don't remember exactly which ones.
That's crazy.
And I also I have to just see what Spawn's up to.
Oh, so Spawn is an option too. Is what you're saying?
Well, I have to figure out where. Like she was talking about going somewhere, so it's like trying to figure out if she's going to be gone somewhere. I have more options. If she's going to
Uh-huh.
be home, I have to kind of like focus how be more strategic with my time.
All right. So
Um,
who are the options? Who do we got? That's a good idea. Mystic Mimic
there's,
said, invite them both to the same place and make them fight.
I think there's like 4 that want to go out.
Four.
Um,
You could do like a
uh,
Royal Rumble. You could do a 2-on-2, and then the winning team, then they have to fight each other. That'd be fun. We can live
I
stream it.
mean,
That's our members only event this weekend. Just
I can't
watch
let them. Can't know
Jen's
about each
bum
other yet.
fights.
um, there's so I still talk. The British guy is out of town, so he's not an option. But
In
I
Britain.
chat.
Yeah.
He's from the UK, but he, okay. So I think he might be too nice. I think he might be. I think he might be too much of an adult for me.
Jen needs to be able to sabotage this. I get you.
that's that's an issue I have. It's like, are you too grounded, too
Why is
normal?
that a problem? Why don't you want a nice guy?
It's not that I don't want a nice guy. It's just I know myself, and shut up, Heath. Um, I know myself, and I would walk all over a guy who's too nice. You have to be able to stand up to me a little bit.
Well, what if he's going to stand up to you when it matters? What if he's just a sweetheart until it matters?
I haven't written him off yet.
All right.
So that one's not in town. But then there's
I'm team him. Somebody said Jen needs a strong. That's being able to be a nice person. That takes strength. I think it's
yeah,
a lot. I think it's a lot harder to be a kind person than to be tough. Like act tough.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, I'm still figuring out. But there's I'm going for more grown up.
More toxic. No, less. You said less grown up. You want less grown up.
No, I mean in comparison to my previous dating
Okay, so can't
experience.
preferably they don't try and eat your hand.
Yeah.
Preferably they don't try and neg you. Preferably they don't get married to you and then die. Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah, all those things. But still,
Hey, don't knock Brene Brown. I've read Brene Brown. Shut up, Illusion. You should read more Brene Brown. It's the power of vulnerability, okay? It's a good thing.
Is that? I don't know what that is.
You ought to read it. Yeah, that book would be your fucking nightmare. I dare you to read The Power of Vulnerability. I double dare you. I'll buy the book. I'll get the audiobook for you.
Well, message me what the title is so I can look it up.
The Power of Vulnerability.
That just sounds like a crap book. It doesn't even sound good.
It's so good. It's tough. A tough one to read, but it's good.
Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, I guess I'll have a so biopolitically on Twitch is Heath. That would be Jen's nightmare. Book club with Jen.
Who's biopolitically? Is biopolitically in the mix? It seems to be some chemistry here.
No, that's Heath. It's a friend. So
sometimes friends turn into more than friends.
He was the expert on the cut info that we discussed before.
Oh, so he's an expert, a good friend. Jeez.
Not like that. Ew. No.
See, he says he's in the mix. There you go. Don't sell yourself short. Just stay in the mix. You got this. Heath's playing the long game. I like Heath is number one. Heath's not getting a date tonight, but playing the long game. I love it.
Well, I'll have to tell you some of the lore separately.
Of Heath? No, Heath's here. We can talk about it. We're all here together.
Well, do you remember when I was called out by a certain leprechaun?
Oh yeah. I was like, what?
There was rumors about poor Heath and maybe the size of his appendage that leprechaun made up. So
Jesus. I honestly don't know how to respond to that. Allegedly massive. Is that what the accusation was? Oh, that's not that bad then. Yeah, okay.
No,
it could be worse.
For him, that was his call out.
That's a crazy. Wait, they said that about him? That was the call out? That's a crazy call out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody, Heath has a huge dick. What an idiot. It could be worse. It could be worse call outs.
It could be. I mean, it could be claimed to be small.
All right, so Heath's a nice guy playing the long game. Seems to be an expert on cuckery, huge dick. Anybody else feel like Heath's in the lead here?
Heath, just tell. And we're not. It's not that.
Oh.
There's a group.
Jen.
No.
Getting flustered. This is a perfect match.
Because you don't understand.
Heath for the tip. Heath probably only for the tip at first. You gotta get used to that.
Blossom, I wish everyone forgot about. I think everyone largely forgot about the leprechaun.
Blossom's here. Hi, Blossom. I love you. Where have you been?
She's been in some random mag lives. I've seen her here and there. She
low key like top 5 smartest people on TikTok that nobody ever talks about.
Exactly. But so I saw someone mention on TikTok that, someone was, if there's lower viewers on TikTok that, they were forced to unfollow. This is the backup account. If you guys are here, the main account was banned. So we're kind of starting fresh. So if you just are coming
and we get live restricted every day. So also that.
Yeah. I mean, we've only been on this account this week.
But we have got live restricted every day. The first day we made it about an hour and a half before we got one though. So I think that's a new record.
What's the restrictions for it? I didn't look at what
harassment and bullying was one of them. Actually, it's almost always harassment and bullying, which I feel like isn't very fair. Because I'm clearly speaking to people who are harassing and bullying me, and they get to stick around. I feel like it's not nice.
Well, you can handle it. You'll be all right. But I guess I'll give you guys an update on Monday if or what I decided to do this weekend. So we'll have an update on Monday.
All right, hang in there, Heath. Your time's coming.
Yeah, and so the account on TikTok, which we need to adjust a little bit. So it says it's like RTP Talks, TOKS, or RTP Media News, which we need to make the names the same. So that's something else I have to do. So yeah, we're back on TikTok. We don't know how long, but yeah, we're there. So if we want to get started, let's get the likes up on TikTok.
Wait, somebody asked, and what happened to Finger Licking Good? Does he still reach out?
No, I moved on.
I thought that wasn't my question.
He hasn't reached out and I haven't reached out.
So we were both on the same page there? That was just a hit it and quit it situation?
I mean, he served his purpose and I moved on.
If I was Jen, I would be so canceled. If I said any of the things that Jen says, I'd be canceled. I'm just over here like a little sap. And
well, that's part of the the patriarchy hurts everyone. So.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm good with it. I like it. I like to hear it.
Right,
fuck them. You know. Well, I guess you. Well, never mind. Okay. You do the announcements.
Anyway,
I'll shut the fuck up for a second. Sorry.
We can get going on things. So yeah, if you guys are watching on TikTok, let's get up to 25K likes. If you're watching on YouTube, if you can hit the thumbs up or the heart, whatever's like, push that out. Twitch, whatever helps push that. I don't know what we do on Twitch, how that works, but whatever that happens over there, do that. If you're a paid member or subscriber on any of the platforms, we'd like you to be if you aren't one, so you can join us for members only events. We finished watching Company Retreat on Wednesday. That was a feel good show. Everyone enjoyed watching, so that was fun.
Sorry, I just should not read the comments.
Yeah, I try to avoid reading comments.
Jay Rezzy, get it together. Jay Rezzy's out here handing out life lessons.
Anyways, so this is our job. We do this each day, Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 1. And we are crowdfunded. That's how we're able to do this. So we Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all of that. What is your deal?
I'm so sorry. Are
you okay?
I'm so sorry. There's just a lot of funny things being said about Heath. The chat is very funny this morning, and I'm sorry. It's like, so Heath has most of his mass in his foreskin.
She's a mess. He can't.
Somebody's illusion said, "Hang low, Heath. You got this." I'm sorry. I didn't put my maturity pants on before we started today. I'm not ready for this.
You don't usually wear your maturity pants.
Sorry, I don't even wear pants most of the time.
I mean, pants are overrated. So, anyways, we have like I said, what?
I gotta mute. Where's Heath from? Hungary.
If you guys aren't on Twitch, there's a fun thing happening for Heath.
If you're not on Twitch, maybe you should be. It is the best chat on the internet. It's way better than any of the other chats. And I've explained this before. TikTok is for the ADHDers. YouTube is for people who want to fight, and Twitch is just the best, most entertaining chat.
Yeah. So, like I said, we've got the gift goal. We need to hit it each day. This is our job. It's how we keep the bills paid and the lights on. So if we could knock that out sooner rather than later, that'd be fantastic. If you guys disagree with RTP and you'd like to come up and have a conversation, how you do that is you send me a message on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo. So Jen with 2 N's, W 2 B's, the number 1. Check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch. Jay's on Cameo, and we upload these episodes to Spotify. Did I ever tell you that when I was a kid, my mom got really mad at me for trying to make a kite out of a dress?
You did not.
Out of a dress of hers.
It
didn't fly in her household.
Did you know that Peter Dinklage used to be a psychic who robbed banks before going into acting?
I don't even know who that is.
Peter Dinklage. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
I don't remember his name. What is it? What's his name on Game of Thrones? Oh, also the author in Elf. That Buddy keeps calling him an elf, or I mean, an elf. You know, I'm talking Tyrion. Thank you, Tyrion Lannister.
Okay.
All right.
What are we talking about?
Well, he used to be a psychic who robbed banks before going into acting.
Okay.
And the APB that they put out for him was for a small, medium, at large.
No.
That was Phoenix. That was Phoenix Rise. That's not me. That's a super chat. How dare you disrespect Phoenix Rise like that? That's a great joke.
I Okay, maybe I'm just not focusing. I'm trying to read 3 different chats.
All right.
So,
Well, it was a great joke. So
all
we'll
right,
end on that.
fantastic.
All right, Jen. Love you.
All right, bye.
Love you. She never says it. Never. Not one time. Not one time. The amount of times I've told Jen that I loved her and get nothing back. B87 said for Heath's reduction surgery. All right. Go get him, Heath. Superstar. We got to start the fucking show. It's not going to get better. Okay, let me look at this. I'll even switch the screen the right way. You guys have me all fucked up this morning. We covered a little bit yesterday that Stephen Miller's wife Katie was very upset at a staffer at the DNC who tweeted out to Stephen Miller, "Shut up, you ugly fuck," which is simple but effective, and it just honestly a great tweet. And Katie Miller was upset. Said she was like a single miserable woman in her 30s. Which doesn't seem to be the case. And so Midas Touch had her on. Her name is Paulina Mangabot. Mangabot, I think that's how you say that. She's the content and creative director for the at the Democrats on Twitter, and it was asked what she would like Katie Miller to know.
Magabut content and creative director at the DNC. So Katie Miller has been posting about you. She went on Fox and she's been talking about you, and she's made it very personal about you, Paulina. So I want to give you the opportunity right now to respond.
First of all, can we just talk about the fact that Katie Miller called her ugly? I don't want to comment on Katie Miller's weird morph into looking exactly like Stephen Miller somehow, but she's beautiful. I don't know. I don't feel like calling her ugly was a very good decision. Beautiful.
To Katie Miller, if she's watching this, what do you want Katie Miller to know?
I want Katie Miller to know that her husband is an ugly fuck. Stephen Miller is one of the most powerful men in the country right now. He is a White House official who is taking to Twitter to hurl these absolutely false and transphobic attacks against an amazing candidate in Texas, James Tallarico. We simply called him ugly, and I think that what he has...
It's hard to argue that Stephen Miller is not ugly. That's a very difficult thing to argue. I don't know that the MAGA folks are defending the fact that he's not ugly.
Been doing is ugly. He is celebrating when ICE shoots down Americans in the street. He thinks that it's cool when families are separated, and it's just absolutely disgusting. And so, yeah, I stand by calling him an ugly fuck.
Like, honestly, let's see if I can do a split screen here. Get a full screen of Stephen Miller. Hold on just a second. Let me get this full screen. Let's do it. Let's just do a comparison. And I'm not a big fan of doing this all the time. Oops. But like, who's better looking? We got a flag for harassment and bullying. Who's better looking? Yeah, I think clearly he's better looking. I'll take the polyp. All right. Okay. Moving on. This is her at the office. Somebody made her a cake, and the cake says, "You ratioed Timu Hitler and also are hot." That's a good cake. And then, sorry, that I searched Stephen Miller. Maybe that wasn't Stephen Miller I showed before, but they're side by side there. This is the guy. You can't be upset if you're called ugly if you're Stephen Miller. He looks like a ball sack. Phoenix said, bold words from considering she married Nosferatu's grandson. Amy Lynn said, it's my 34th anniversary. Tell Gareth Seahawks win, or tell him how lucky he is to be with me. Both. You are lucky to be with Amy, of course, Gareth, and you're lucky when the Seahawks win, too. So, a lot of luck in your life. You got a lot of luck in your life when you got Russell Wilson, and you got a lot of luck in your life when you married Amy Lynn. So both of those things, a lot of luck. And Amy Lynn seems like she's going to last forever, and the Seahawks seem like they're going to fade back into mediocrity. So happy Happy 34th anniversary. Also, 34 years. Good for you. Yeah, Russell Wilson sucks now, but he was so annoying to play. That guy just he just would sit in the pocket for like 35 seconds and he was impossible to tackle. And I hated playing against him. All right, let's talk about the FCC real quick before we get into some other things. This is Brendan Carr. The FCC is just trying to get rid of all late night comedians. Comedy apparently not legal again. Comedy seems to be illegal again. Here is Brendan Carr. Now they're going after Disney for, again, just like these social wars have to be getting old, especially in a country where virtually nothing is going well. Again, Republicans, if you're here, welcome. Happy Friday to you. It's great to have you here. I hope you participate in the chat today. But things aren't going well. The economy is a problem. This war in Iran is stupid. Nothing's really going very well. Nobody trusts our government. Currently covering up the Epstein files. Pam Bondi, we'll talk about here in a minute, is testifying in front of Congress. The Republicans didn't even show up. They're not putting her under oath. It's pretty pathetic what's going on. So naturally, this administration's like, what if we went after the comedians who make fun of us and hurt our feelings? That's the two biggest stories. That somebody called Stephen Miller an ugly fuck, and now we're going to go after ABC through Disney.
Disney filing these renewals, but saying they did it under protest and it's unconstitutional.
Well, Disney has been embroiled in controversy.
James, I will not go get a real job. This is my full-time job, and it doesn't pay that well. But fortunately, I have a part-time gig that pays very well, where I let your dad blow me while your mom watches. So, pretty good deal. They pay me a lot of money. Tell them I said, what's up?
For years now.
Oh, fuck. We're going to lose TikTok today. Shit. Sorry, TikTok. TikTok, I was kidding. That was a joke, TikTok.
Related to their DEI policies, there's reporting that suggests that Disney's leadership went all in on what could end up being invidious forms of DEI discrimination. We launched this investigation into Disney's...
Is there a single example of DEI discrimination that's been proven in courts? I'm sure there is. I just can't... I can't think of one. They keep acting like they've done something. Everybody, there was I think it was maybe Bloomberg put this out the other day, but they talked to all the CEOs of basically every corporation, and they all still do DEI because it benefits them. They just call it something else now. So that's all that happened. They just had to stop calling it DEI, but they all realized on their own that this benefits us. I have a close family member who's I don't know, like not just under whatever the VP is over at Meta, same thing. They worked at Amazon before that, same thing. Everybody has DEI. They just call it something different now. CNBC, really? Shut up, Scott. We can't show CNBC now? That's crazy. I've not one time has anybody been like, CNBC, really? My friend, Tyler, can we talk about this real quick? What is it about this clip that you have a problem with? We'll even start it over for you. One, what's your gripe with CNBC? Two, this is a firsthand account from Brendan Carr, who is responsible for doing the thing. This could not be more or less biased. This is the guy doing the thing, explaining what he's doing. That's why we're fucked. That's why we're fucked.
What is your reaction to Disney filing these renewals, but saying they did it under protest and it's unconstitutional?
Well, Disney has been embroiled in controversies for years now related to their DEI policies. There's reporting that suggests that Disney's leadership went all in on what could end up being invidious forms of DEI discrimination. We launched this investigation into Disney's DEI practices all the way back in March of 2025.
Good reminder, Brendan Carr also wrote the chapter on the FCC for Project 2025, and now he's the FCC chairman. But for sure, Project 2025 wasn't real.
We've gone through rounds of our versions of subpoenas with them, getting documents from them, and the evidence is starting to fall into a couple buckets. One, have they been discriminating in the hiring of people based on race, gender, protected characteristics, compensation, promotion, workplace activities? Disney has its view, Disney has its evidence, and we haven't made a final decision, but there is evidence coming in that points to some of those buckets.
But they say that.
Can we do some serious investigations by this administration? Is every investigation just going to be some like woke culture war shit or retribution for Donald Trump? What are they getting out of this? Why do they even want to do this? I can't imagine working for this administration. What are we doing today? We're going to go after wokers or anybody who was mean to Trump. Yay.
It's not about that. They say this is about the First Amendment. They say it's about you trying to chill their free speech and exert editorial control on the networks.
We've been very clear what this investigation is about. In fact, FCC staff, before they filed this renewal, sent them what we call a deficiency notice based on their responses and evidence produced. And that notice indicated that in the staff's view, Disney has
That's a really good point. All their investigations are futile. They're not catching anybody doing anything. They're just making people pay for lawyers.
Filing
It's vindictive prosecution. It's what Trump's done his entire life. Every time anybody has sued Trump, they win because he's a criminal. And then he countersues them and loses or eventually drops it, but not before he forces them to pay a bunch in attorney fees. He's just a prick.
Complete responses. They've been deficient in their responses and been disingenuous in the submissions they've been making with the FCC. And at the end of the day, a lot of what Disney's arguments appear to go to is a fundamental disagreement that they should be.
David, what would Democratic Party is on record weaponizing the DOJ? How? How did they weaponize the DOJ? Was it when they investigated Biden's kid? His own DOJ did that? How did they weaponize it? Give me some examples, please, of a weaponized DOJ.
Be held accountable to the unique regulatory framework that just applies to broadcasters. And the Supreme Court has already taken this up, and they've said there's no First Amendment right to hold a broadcast license.
But you can see why they think this is about something else, right? I mean, you called for the early review of the broadcast licenses right after.
Have a safe, wonderful weekend, everyone. Happy anniversary, Amy Lynn, PSRTP. You know you're going to run out and get one of those $250 bills. Jesus. It's so stupid.
President Trump called for Jimmy Kimmel to be fired. And there have been a number of instances where you and the president have been critical of what you've seen on ABC.
Well, look, obviously the president has every right to express his view. And again, broadcasters have to be accountable.
I think it's pathetic that the president watches late night TV and complains about late night TV. I think that is that's the bitchiest behavior I've ever seen in my life from a president. He's got so many things that very important things to do. He spends his night being upset that people make jokes about him. Phoenix said, did you see Peter Thiel is going to move to Argentina? I guess his grandpa used to live there or something. Is that true? About him moving to Argentina? I have no doubt that his grandparents lived there. Probably not from there. Probably from somewhere in Europe.
To the public interest, which makes them different from a cable channel or a newspaper. And I understand Disney wants to make this about a lot of other things, and their PR machine has been in high gear, but we've been very clear about what this is, concerns about invidious forms of DEI discrimination. The next step here is probably as soon as today, we'll issue a public notice at the FCC that creates a pleading cycle so that people that want to petition to deny the renewal of Disney's licenses can file, and then Disney again will have an...
Have fun having no good TV at all. Like that's over the airs. It's just like CBS, ABC, NBC is just going to be like propaganda channels for Trump, and nobody will watch it because nobody watches conservative television except for Fox News, I guess.
Opportunity then to file an opposition. There'll be replies. So we are moving down the path at this point of that additional process, and all these issues can be aired out. But once that process runs its course, then there'll be another decision point for the FCC. You can either renew the license at that point, or you can designate the license for hearing, and we're going to follow.
Mikey, it'd be cool. Fun reminder here for you guys. If you are somebody like Mikey in the chat and you have stumbled upon this live stream of this dumb guy in the Giants hat speaking, one thing you could do is you could educate me, and I'd be happy to hear you educate me on anything. You can message JenDub1, that's JenNDUBB1 on Discord. She'll bring you right up here. You can talk to me live in front of all these people, and once and for all, shut me up and prove that I'm stupid. I'm happy to talk to you about anything. Open forum today for anybody who disagrees with me about anything. Let's see if we can get some of you guys a little bit of courage today. It'd be nice. It gets tiresome just talking to myself all day, every day. So I would love to talk to one of you guys. It's now been proven Carol was paid to lie about Trump. All her legal fees were paid by people who hate Trump. Laws were changed to try to prosecute Trump. Yeah, that's not true. It has not been proven that E. Jean Carroll was paid to lie about Trump. There is an accusation that she lied about whether or not Reid Hoffman paid her bills. And I looked into that. We'll have to see when Reid Hoffman paid her, because she said that in 2022. If Reid Hoffman paid her bills later than that, then that wouldn't be a lie, right? That would be true. But even then, it's pretty pathetic that the Department of Justice is involved in a case that they didn't prosecute, had nothing to do with, and they're going after somebody for perjury. That wouldn't change any part of the case, by the way. Wouldn't change a single bit. Even if Reid Hoffman paid for the case, even if Joe Biden paid for her attorneys, they still won the case with a jury. The jury and the judge decided. It doesn't matter who paid for it. So yeah, she could get in trouble, but that wouldn't change a single element of the case. And that shows again how brain dead MAGA is. Like, just take it one step further. If they're saying that she lied, what did she lie about? They're saying that she lied about who paid for her attorney's fees. What does that mean? It means that somebody paid for her attorney's fees. That's all it means. That's all you can deduce from that. But you're so desperate to not have to admit that your president is a sex predator that you're like, this means that it was all a lie. And once again, it's also interesting that you will accept an accusation, an investigation. You hear that there's an investigation about E. Jean Carroll. You immediately determine that she is guilty without seeing any of the evidence, without it going through court. Just knowing there's an investigation is enough for you to conclude that she's guilty. On the flip side, Donald Trump, there was evidence against him. It went to court. He lost in court. He was sentenced. The case itself was upheld in one court, and it's working its way up to the Supreme Court, but he's innocent. If you held one standard on anything, it would be the only standard you hold. Just curious, how much do y'all make for this? Is it hourly, viewer based? I can tell you, I don't mind. YouTube and Twitch pay us for actually Twitch, we don't run ads. At least we're not supposed to. If you're on Twitch and you're seeing ads, will you message me? Because Twitch does not pay us any ad revenue. YouTube pays us ad revenue. It's very low. It's per view. The overwhelming majority of our money comes from donations, from Super Chats, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, gifts on TikTok, and then paid subscribers. I would say that's 90-ish% of our revenue. So, there you go. Entirely crowdfunded. Amy said, Trump already brought this up in appeals about E. Jean Carroll, and they lost in court. And also, they're not investigating her now. They're investigating the nonprofit that helped pay for it. Yeah, well, I don't think they're investigating, but they're saying that they might investigate her for that, is what I read. I don't know if and that's like a leaked source, so I don't even think that that's been confirmed. The absolute hate from the left is borderline treasonous. Hatred is not treason. You should look up the word treason. It's not even borderline treason. It's a completely different word. And hate is legal. You can hate anybody you want in this country. You're allowed to hate. Donations from the DNC drying up. Yeah, the DNC is not interested in giving me a dime. I stopped getting offers from the DNC or like Democrat groups a long time ago. Yeah, they don't like me very much because I don't like them very much. Okay, where are we? Oh, here. Let's talk about Pam Bondi. So pathetically, and I mean like just as this is as pathetic as it gets, Pam Bondi, who was subpoenaed by Congress to come in front of Congress and answer questions about why she didn't release the Epstein files, she finally showed up. So she skipped her first date that she was subpoenaed. They rescheduled for today, the 29th. She showed up today. No Republicans showed up except for James Comer. Zero Republicans. I would like any of you to explain that. Guys, why didn't they show up? Because Trump will be mad at them if they show up. Why did Comer show up? Because he's required to show up. So he's got a pass there. Zero Republicans showed up. Zero. Not going to put her under oath. Not going to record it. We're supposed to get a transcript. That's it. But even if she lies, doesn't seem to matter. She's not under oath. User, get a real name, but like I don't know who my side is. We just discussed. I don't like the Democrats. I don't like the Republicans. I don't like MAGA. I don't really, honestly, I don't have a side. I like politicians that agree with my policies. There's not that many of them. Just like a dozen or so that I like. So don't play this whataboutism shit. Let's talk about why the Republicans aren't showing up to talk to Pam Bondi about refusing to release the Epstein files. Let's talk about that. Aren't they on recess? Yeah. Yeah, they're on recess. Why not come back? Democrats showed up.
Bondi is
okay, so this is by the way, this is now I forget his name. Remember, somebody remind me of his name. He's a congressman. James Walkinshaw from Virginia. I thought he laid this out really well on what's happening today.
Look, I think first Pam Bondi is a central figure, maybe the central figure in this cover-up of the Epstein files, right? And we saw there her modus operandi when she's asked difficult questions. It's to be combative, to be aggressive. It'll be interesting tomorrow to see whether when the cameras aren't on, I think what we saw there, she was performing for her boss at the time, Donald Trump. That boss fired her anyway. Maybe he didn't like the performance. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see what she does. Look, there is a subpoena in effect. Chairman Comer has allowed her to kind of slide around that and have a behind the scenes, not videotaped, transcribed interview.
Why? Why? Why is it not videotaped? Why is it not under oath? Why? MAGA, can you give me an answer real quick? Why is your party covering for Jeffrey Epstein? What's going on?
Tomorrow. But if we don't get answers to the questions we asked, as the ranking member said, we'll bring her back in the future.
Well, you'll have to.
Answers.
When you have the gavel, you'll have to. I think.
One of the elements of tomorrow that I find particularly interesting, Congressman, is that Pam Bondi is being represented at her interview by Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon. You have legal experts who say that raises the prospects that the DOJ could direct Bondi to not answer some questions posed by the committee. DOJ said it routinely provides staff to assist with congressional engagement involving past department staff.
How does this work? Why is she represented by our government? Our government is interviewing her. She doesn't work for the government. Why is the Assistant Attorney General representing her? Find out in a little bit. Todd Blanche is also there, and they're directing her. Is there? Can someone? I just want I'm biased. It's fair. Can someone just explain to us how this isn't corrupt? Please. Anybody who mentions Democrats for the next 5 minutes is going to get a 5-minute mute. All of you. Anybody not answering my question gets muted for 5 minutes. I need you to tell me why this isn't corrupt. Why is this not corrupt, David? David, directly to you. How is this not corrupt? The law is they have to release the Epstein files. They didn't release the Epstein files. Now, Pam Bondi, who doesn't work for the government, is being represented by the government against the government. David? Frank, you too. You're going to get a 5-minute mute if you don't answer these. We'll knock the shit. We'll break the, we'll get rid of all of you guys today if you're just going to do whataboutisms. I don't have the patience for that today. David and Frank, we're waiting for you. That's the only thing you're allowed to say now. You're only allowed to answer this question. Can you explain to us why this isn't corruption, please? We're waiting. Are they going to run? Oh, the bots are they're checking with their manager. What do we say to this? Nope. No whataboutisms from you either, Jewel. Jewel, answer this question. How's this not corruption? Listen, I tell you, I think they're both corrupt creeps and majority of them. Oh, no. Frank, don't be a bitch. We're not doing bitches today, okay? Not doing bitch shit today. You have to answer this question only about Republicans. Don't play both sides now. This is every one of you fucking losers. Answer the fucking question. Well, actually, I think that both of them are bad. Okay, well, if both of them are bad, why did only the Democrats show up? Well, they're both equally bad. No, some of them are there. Some aren't, some are. One more chance, Frank, then you get a 5-minute mute. Any of you. Jewel, answer my question, please. Jewel, you're getting a 5-minute mute if you don't answer the question. Stop playing whataboutism. Why is it that the Republicans didn't show up? You can answer that question, or you can answer how this is not corrupt. Not messing around today. And Frank Zappa was Antifa, far left. Good point, Noodle Poodle Girl. Yeah, we'll do this all day. This might be a terrible show. I apologize in advance. This might just be like me being petty all day. Where'd you go? All right, I'll move on. Mods, unless you can be the judge, unless either Frank, Jewel, or David answer the question, the next thing they say, 5-minute mute. And when they come back after the 5-minute mute, if they don't answer the question, another 5-minute mute. We'll do it all day.
Actions. I mean, I think the hope was that when she was outside the building, there would be a different level of candor or transparency that, as Michael said, like is advertised as not being the case.
Yeah, look, I think Pam Bondi wants to remain in the good graces of Donald Trump. We learned this week that she's appointed to this AI committee despite having literally no experience on that subject. And I think Harmeet Dillon's presence there is to make sure Pam Bondi stays in line tomorrow. I think that's why she's there, and the rest of the DOJ.
It wasn't me said, am I crazy, or does he keep saying invidious? Yeah, I didn't know what that word means. I think he meant insidious. That was from Brennan Carr. If invidious is a word, I haven't heard it. I think he meant insidious.
Attorneys who will be there tomorrow. There's no question about that.
It also feels like, honestly, Harmeet Dillon, ironically, is also somebody that y'all might want to speak to if Democrats take back the House, because Harmeet Dillon is at the heart of a lot of...
Frank, you didn't answer the question. Enjoy your 5-minute mute.
What's going on when it comes to this elections, this oversight, I'm using air quotes for the folks at home, that the government is trying to exert over our electoral infrastructure. Right. She is carrying out a lot of that.
Yeah, she's a key figure in the weaponization of the Trump DOJ. There's no question about that. She's also all but auditioning to be the permanent attorney.
Okay, you did answer the question. They didn't show up because they are corrupt, because they are protecting the guilty, and those are guilty of sex crimes. Okay, so Donald Trump and the Republican Party is covering up because they are guilty, and they are protecting other guilty people who are guilty of sex crimes. Is that what you're saying, Frank? We're on the same page? The Republicans are covering up for sex criminals. I apologize if we banned you before that. This is just a distraction to deflect from the corruption being exposed. David, enjoy your 5-minute mute, you fucking coward. It's crazy. How would, like, if you're saying the corruption being exposed, I assume you're talking about like Minnesota, how would that corruption be worse than covering up, like literally using intelligence agencies and the power of the government and the Department of Justice to cover up for sex criminals? How in the world would covering up Medicare fraud be worse than that? That's dumb. Am said, happy Friday, sinners and heathens. Don't forget your Antifa dues.
Attorney General. So there's an interesting little soap opera taking place between Todd Blanche and Harmeet Dillon. I think we'll see Harmeet Dillon come out before the Fox
Betsy
News
said for the
cameras
pettiness.
tomorrow
Thank
to
you,
make
Betsy.
a little performance to make her case to Donald Trump that she should be the Attorney General.
Michael, it's just crazy to me. I know why they're not recording it, right? I know
Thank you,
why,
Peter. Said, I love the pettiness.
Your Republican colleagues, congressmen, are making sure she's not under oath. It's just still so frustrating for me. I know why they're doing it, but can the people at home understand that they are doing this because they know the video would be damaging to them?
Yeah, Congressman, you know it, right? It's you don't want the camera on you when you're saying the words.
Right. It's all part of the cover-up. I'll give you a little bit more detail on it. So chairman of our committee, James Comer, might remember in 2020, after the election, he was one of the minority of House Republicans who voted to certify the election.
Jewel, I covered that story of fraud in Minnesota in February of last year, like 6 or 7 months before Nick Shirley did. Please stop. Like, I don't know who you think you're talking to. I don't know if you think you're on like a Democratic live stream. You're not. Fuck the Democrats. Okay, you can say it with me. Fuck them. Don't care about the Democrats one goddamn bit. Not one. But we're calling balls and strikes right now. And balls and strikes right now when it comes to Epstein is the Republicans are covering it up actively. And if you want to say both sides, you can say neither side released it until now. But now that it's supposed to be released, who is stopping the release of the files? Is it the Democrats or the Republicans? It's clearly the Republicans. Why are they doing it? Well, if you believe the people who Donald Trump has run out of the party, they say that Donald Trump told them to block the release. Pam Bondi, which we'll get to in a minute, is blaming the Trump administration. Everybody's blaming Donald Trump. We're just calling balls and strikes today. You need to stop playing party politics today. Defaults, shut the fuck up. Let me tell you a secret, Defaults. Donald Trump did switch parties, and you said he did it in 2009 to run against Hillary Clinton. He tried to get the Republican nomination in 2012. He filed for an exploratory committee, and they said, no, I worked for Mitt Romney at the time on that campaign. And Donald Trump was a Republican following Mitt Romney everywhere. Romney wasn't even inviting him to shit. He just knew where Romney was going, and everywhere Romney went, Trump's plane would land. And Romney had a special team that was supposed to divert Donald Trump because Romney didn't even want to be around him because he was such a fucking cancer. But all of this doesn't fucking matter because what you're doing, and so we're done with your question. I looked it up for you. We're done with that discussion. You need to discuss now what we're talking about, or you get the mute too. We're talking about right now Donald Trump, who you think it's so important to talk about that he switched parties to run against Hillary, covering up the Epstein files and threatening anybody who doesn't cover up the Epstein files. We're done with your bullshit, and now you got to talk about this.
Elections. I don't know if one.
So you're right. He changed to run against Hillary. I've never heard that ever, honestly. I've never heard that from anywhere. But you might be right, but who the fuck cares? That literally doesn't matter one goddamn bit. It doesn't matter for anything. It is an irrelevant point. So now that I've addressed it, we stopped the whole fucking show for you. For the rest of the day, why don't you talk about what we're talking about?
Deserves credit for doing the obvious right thing, but he did the right thing in that moment. Since then, and especially during his chairmanship of this committee, he has been working desperately to bend the knee to Donald Trump because he's running for governor of Kentucky. And the only thing that could stop him is a MAGA candidate endorsed by Donald Trump. So James Comer has to do Trump's bidding. Tomorrow, not being videotaped for the American people, that's Trump's bidding. That's what James Comer and congressional Republicans are doing.
I just want to say, for the record, we really need to get over this inside the Republican Party, this idea that we're going to, kowtow the way they're kowtowing. You are not leading when you're doing that. You're bending over when you do that. And if that's comfortable for you as a politician, then the people that you are asking to vote for you should know that. And the thing they do about it is not vote for your dumb behind, because that's the best you can do, Mr. Comer, is exactly kowtow this way, or anybody else. We've seen good Republicans, Alicia.
And Dover mentioned.
Kicked out of office for just doing the right thing in their job. As the congressman noted just now, Comer voted to certify the election, did the right thing, didn't want to overturn, knew the process, and now is doing the whole backstroke because he wants another office.
Mute Brick Thor for 5 minutes. Brick Thor, stay on subject today. We're not doing this shit. We're not going to do Southern Poverty Law Center shit today. We're talking about what's on the screen. And you can talk about what's on the screen, or you can fuck off.
It's a higher office and doesn't want a MAGA candidate running against him. That's not leadership. That's pathetic.
Well,
but that's me.
And I keep going back, Michael, Congressman, to what is at stake here, which is, in one sense, the survivors who have fought so long for justice and accountability, and in a bigger sense, creating a world and an environment.
All right. Ban abortions, ban Islam, ban Brick Thor. Thanks. Go find a different stream, idiot.
Where these type of improprieties are not allowed and power is not abused. I want to connect two dots, though, because I do think the DOJ potentially going after E. Jean Carroll, or as it is now being reported, going after Reid Hoffman, that doesn't just send a message to Reid Hoffman or to E. Jean Carroll. It sends a message to every survivor out there who would consider coming forward about the long tail of retribution. I mean, I wonder if you've talked about this with the survivors as you're watching watching what's unfolding coming out of DOJ, the message that you think it sends, especially in contrast to an administration that ran on release of the Epstein files and has failed to live up to their own promise?
Yeah, Michael Steele can shut the fuck up. That's fine. But look, we got to... I'm going to get some pushback for this. I don't love the way that we have purity metrics for all of these people, right? I don't think it's that different when we look at people like Michael Steele, and I don't disagree with anything you said there, actually, that he was part of the vanguard that ushered Trump into office. He was the blackface to soften the hate of the right for years. I agree with that. Fuck Mike. I mean, and I think he did he did that for, I think he was the chairman of the RNC. But like sometimes we just have to listen to what somebody's saying and decide whether that's true or not. And perhaps the fact that they have a bad track record isn't a reason to dismiss what they're saying, right? Like he still has some insider information. He still has decent insight on some things. He's not somebody we should probably look to for policy. Probably not somebody we should trust if in a position of power. But like what he's doing right now is he's just giving analysis, and I don't really disagree with anything he's saying.
In conversations that I and others have had with survivors over the last year, time after time after time, they have shared the fears they have about coming forward and speaking out against all of these wealthy and powerful men, Epstein, Les Wexner, Donald Trump, and others. And when I heard the news...
Yeah, you're probably right about that, Keith.
...about this attack, I don't know how else to describe it, on E. Jean Carroll, another courageous survivor, I immediately thought of the Epstein survivors and how they must be feeling in this moment. This is their fear realized. Not just a wealthy individual coming after them, the president of the United States using the power, the full power of the United States government to attack a survivor of sexual abuse. That's what's happening.
While we cover up the Epstein files. Man, don't you guys have women in your lives that you love? Or if you are a woman, you don't love yourself? You don't think you deserve a voice when you've been abused? You don't think that just even the accusations deserve a voice? Some of you, I imagine, have daughters, wives, sisters, mothers. I wonder what it's like to go to bed every night and just be like, yeah, fuck them. Yeah. More important that Donald Trump be viewed as perfect. You all have moms. Some of you might have daughters. Does this really feel good to you? How come no other president has had to deal with this? It's just because we hate him? No other presidents were powerful before? How come he's the only one that has this many sexual assault allegations? Why wasn't Joe Biden in the Epstein files? Where was Barack Obama in those Epstein files? Where's George Bush in those Epstein files? This is Clinton, and it was Trump. You guys have no problem burying Clinton. But you compare Bill Clinton's record and Trump's, and Bill Clinton's scumbag. Absolute scumbag. Abused women. But you compare their records, Trump's is way worse. But you're so ready. And by the way, Trump actually has like convictions. Or I guess civil litigation where he was found liable. Clinton doesn't even have that. And yet Clinton, absolutely guilty. Hillary Clinton, where there's no accusations about her in the Epstein files, you're convinced she's guilty. So she's guilty with no accusations. Clinton is guilty because of the accusations. Trump, never guilty, even though in court been proven, even though he's paid off dozens of women who all had a very similar story, and that their story matched exactly what we heard on the Access Hollywood tape. I just want to know if it feels good. I know you're going to keep lying about it. We've gotten past that. We're used to that now. We know that you're just going to constantly blame women for everything. I just want to know if it feels good. There's no statements of any victims saying Trump did anything. Not true. I was trying to think if it was a third-party account, but in the Epstein files, there is somebody who directly accuses Donald Trump of sexually abusing them. And then there are multiple other people who say that they know that he abused somebody else. Now, have it been investigated? No. No, because they're not going to investigate any of this because they're covering it up. But, okay. David Morgan, banned forever if you don't apologize after this. Let me find, use this. Go to Perplexity, Joe Rogan's favorite. By the way, Trump's ex-wife also accused him of rape. Did you know that? He said that he tried to get a scalp reduction surgery because that's kind of how they tried to get rid of bald spots before, and it got really fucked up. And Trump came home and blamed her for it, and he like ripped her hair out and then raped her. Did you know that? It's not true though, right? Okay, FBI 302 summaries. Let's see if I can find. Let me get the. Sorry, it pulled up news articles for me. I want to get the exact link here. What's Epstein? Hold on 1 second. Is it justice.gov/Epstein, right? Does anybody have it? The EFTA number? Will you guys help me find that while I'm searching for the exact one? It's going to be harder for me to search it. The EFTA, is this it? That's a search history. Anybody have it? Jen might. Wasn't me. Said I figured he meant insidious. To quote a very wise rabbit, what a maroon. Jane said, remind the whataboutism the maggots that Trump threatened the Republican Party openly in front of the press if they release the files. Also, Soros does. Thank you. That's a good point. He did say he would view it as a hostile act toward the administration if they voted to release the Epstein files. Amy says, so Trump was upset when his gender-affirming care didn't go well? Very upset. Jay Rezi, thank you. Let me see if I can pull it up with that. She doesn't let me copy that. Let's see. EFTA 000200518. This is the limousine driver, I think. So this is the limousine driver one. This isn't the one of the person accusing. Jen will find it. Okay. EFT. I see that now, Jen. Did you pull that up?
I didn't fact check it, but I saw it in the comments.
Let's see. Can you just read it to me so that I don't have to go back and forth? EFTA.
EFTA 0025 9527.
Let's see. This is the same one. This is the limo driver, I think.
So what exactly are we looking for?
Wait, no, this is about. This is. I don't know if this is. About Bannon. I can pull it up here and show you guys.
I grabbed the Dolphin. I grabbed the one from the TikTok chat.
I don't think that's not the right one.
What are you looking for exactly?
There was the one that accused him of, I think it was like a 13-year-old.
Okay.
No, not Sasha Riley. But oh, that's true. Sasha Riley also directly accused Trump. So there's another one. You can look that one up. That's a good point. Let's see. This might have it in this PBS article. In interviews with the FBI, the woman alleged she was assaulted by Mr. Trump in the 80s and was also a victim of Epstein. She details in very graphic terms Trump's sexual alleged assault against her and how she fought back. She also says she had two additional interactions with Trump. But before she expanded on that any further, asked if she go on to another subject. These are summaries. I don't know if we have. They didn't put in the
Check the
file.
screenshot. I just put it on chat.
This is it. But why don't we have the ETF number on that? This is it. But reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred. This is the one where the friend does it. That's a friend alleging that her friend was abused. This one, at age 16, while modeling career, attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, caller reported she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin. Those 2 are in prison now, I believe, for sexual assault at another time. Caller named other individuals involved in big orgy parties with other young girls and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. It's still not the right one, but there's another accusation, so there's at least 2 now that we have. Do we need more? If we find it, is this it?
Oh, she sent me that one.
This is like a 21-page Maxwell trial. I don't see any. Is there anything? Oh, this is the prominent name. Oh, okay. This was from the Justice Department. Let me zoom in on this. When it comes to Trump, stated Epstein introduced her to Trump, who subsequently forced her head down to his exposed blank, which she subsequently bit. That's the one I was looking for. In response, Trump punched her in the head and kicked her out. Remember, Epstein introduced her to Trump, saying, "This is a good one, huh?" And Trump responded, "Yes." Okay, that's the one I was talking about. Would have been between 13 and 15 years old. All right, so David, I need you to apologize to everybody and say that you were wrong. People did accuse Donald Trump of abusing them. You don't have to say that you believe them. That's fine. That's expected. I wouldn't say it's fine, but that's expected. But can you apologize now? There were 3 there. No one believes that BS. No, you guys don't believe that BS because you think Donald Trump is a god. All right, so let's get into this. Here's James Comer in front of Epstein survivors who also weren't allowed in the hearing. And James Comer, as the lone Republican, stepped out midway through with the break. I think this, let's see. I don't remember if this was at the break or if this was right before. He'll give us a clue here.
There's just a dozen leads in the files, and these people cannot be brought in under transcribed interviews. Can you ensure that they would please be brought in under oath?
If you lie to Congress, it's a felony. So it's
What am I blowing hard here, Leafs? I'm not a Trump fan, but I think you're blowing hard here. He said nobody accused Trump of abuse. I said 3 people did. Call balls and strikes. What? I can't. Like, that was my claim, that he was accused. Don't you think we should investigate those? I think we should investigate those. What's wrong with that take?
we're bringing them in. We're bringing people in that have never been brought in before. Most of the people, what I find fascinating about this is we brought in Epstein's top assistant, we brought in Epstein's lawyer, and we brought in Epstein's accountant. They were never interviewed by the people who were supposedly investigating Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. How do you not interview those three people?
But these people have to speak under oath.
Yeah, we're going to line of this.
Can you assure us that today we will get information from Pam Bondi about why the files were released in the manner that they were released, specifically the redaction process, survivors' names?
It's a fair question, David. And seeing as the files have already been released, not all the files have been released. About half the files have been released. So let's first cover that they didn't release all the files. There's a big portion, at least 50% of the files, because we know how many total there were. There's at least 50% of them that have not been released. So let's stop saying that they've all been released. And secondly, how many of these accusations have already been investigated? Some, not all. Some of them they refused to investigate. One person said she eventually dropped the case because she says she was getting threats on her family and she was afraid for her own life. She wound up taking her own life, by the way. So some of them have been investigated, some have not. However, why not just bring all these people in and investigate? A statute of limitations is passed on a lot of these people, so why doesn't Congress just haul them in and have a conversation? And how come every time they bring somebody in that like is accused, the Republicans don't show up? Why is that? How come the Republicans don't show up to this? This is an easy one. You have to go out of your way to not recognize that Donald Trump is covering this up. Whatever it is, I don't know what he's covering up. In fact, even if it wasn't sexual abuse, like I think that there is a big story here of the connections between Israel. We know that Israel's connected. They're deeply involved with Jeffrey Epstein. So we're not getting the full picture because it likely has implications with the CIA. It likely implicates other former presidents. It likely implicates Trump. Maybe it implicates Biden. I don't know, but release it. Why are you guys why are you so willing to just let these questions go unanswered just so that Trump's protected? Hey, I thought we got rid of B-faults. I thought we got rid of B-faults already. Do that for B-faults was the one that was doing that bullshit about like abortion, right? Not doing that today. Anyways.
Over and over were exposed.
So these are the victims, by the way, talking to James Comer. They just want answers. They want the people that abuse them to be held accountable.
We see time and time again perpetrators' names have been redacted when they shouldn't have been.
Our congressmen are going and investigating. The Democrats went and met with Les Wexner, and the Democrats didn't show up. The Republicans didn't show up. The Democrats are opening an investigation into the New Mexico property. Republicans aren't doing anything about that. The Democrats are literally the only ones investigating, and the Republicans refuse to show up. But because Comer is the chair, they can't subpoena anybody. They have to rely on Comer subpoenaing people or somebody giving them a voluntary interview. They have no ability to subpoena anybody. Only Comer does, and he refuses to do it. And even when he does subpoena somebody like Pam Bondi today, they don't have a video. They don't have a video. They don't do it live, and they don't put her under oath. The level of cognitive dissonance you have to just pretend this isn't a cover-up is pretty pathetic.
Are we going to get some answers about
I hope so. Those are the questions we're going to ask, and we're doing this. We want justice for the survivors. We do. We've got Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert and
okay, my bad, B-faults. It was somebody else. Don't ban B-faults.
Gone to great lengths to try to get this far, and I hope that you all will see. Many of these people have never been interviewed before. I don't know how that can even be possible. So
because you haven't subpoenaed them. That's why. And the Justice Department and the CIA were covering for Epstein and his powerful friends. We all know why they haven't been interviewed before. Because the Justice Department covered it up. And the Justice Department is still covering it up. And they're covering it up at the direction of Donald Trump. And they're admitting, Pam Bondi today admitted that she wasn't even in control of her own Department of Justice. Todd Blanche was running the show. And Todd Blanche is on the record saying, I'm Trump's attorney.
We're going to bring them in, and we're releasing every transcript. You'll know everything that's been asked. And if there are questions at the conclusion of this that weren't asked that you all felt should be asked.
Thanks, Renee. I appreciate that.
We will get those questions answered. We're going to do everything in our ability.
Chairman, bottom line, Epstein is gone, but there are many people that were on the island. There are many people that were involved that have not been brought to justice. Is that what you're hoping to bring?
We're going to do everything we can. We want to bring people to justice.
Dell's Basement said, you eat the banana. I do, and I don't even have to take a bite. Tell your dad I said what's up.
If anyone was involved in these hideous crimes, they should be held accountable. We're doing everything we can. And remember, these crimes occur.
Democrats are running the show today? No, they're not, David. You have to apologize for that one. Democrats are not running the show today. James Comer is running the show today. They can't put anyone under oath. James Comer is the chairman. It's his call and his call only. It's not Republicans or Democrats. It's James fucking Comer. You got to somebody, David, give David a 10-minute mute. David, you're going to go to YouTube right now and you're going to search Schoolhouse Rock. And you're going to learn about the different branches of government and what their roles are. And then come back in 10 minutes and talk with the rest of the adults, okay? You got to understand how any of this shit works before you open your dumb fucking mouth.
Decades ago, some of them. But all along the way, I think the one thing that we can say with confidence thus far is the survivors were failed by the government. And I hope that we can do the best that we can do in getting answers and getting the truth to the American people, trying to provide some type of justice for the survivors, and if there's any way possible to hold people accountable. That's what we want to see happen. So,
Really appreciate
well,
your
we thank you.
How do you hold somebody accountable if they're not under oath? What's your mechanism to hold them accountable if you're not putting them under oath? They're being very nice. But I would ask Comer, like, how?
For being here, and again, we will continue communications, and if there are questions that aren't asked, anything you're not satisfied, let us know, and we'll do everything in our ability to get answers for you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all.
Ladies, are you satisfied with what he said?
Well, yes, I appreciate that they were bringing in people that the government has not brought in before, and that the Department of Justice and FBI were not willing to take these leads. There are leads. And so we're hoping to get to some truth and accountability. This is what matters. The American public and we deserve the truth. That's it. That's all about the truth.
There you go. All right. So that's true. They can still bring charges against her if she lies to Congress. That's true. But are they going to? I mean, the truth is, Democrats need to win the midterms. If Republicans were smart, they'd stop listening to Donald Trump and they would do this now. Otherwise, it's going to become an issue in the midterms. I am not somebody who, unlike the Republicans with the border crisis, I don't want the Democrats to do nothing, and until the midterms. I want them to push for these investigations. I don't think they should use it as a tool to win midterms, but. If Republicans refuse to bring any of these people and put them under oath, then that's going to be the entire narrative going into the midterms. And like it or not, that's going to be a big problem. Here's Robert Garcia, who stepped out. This was at the midway point to tell you how this is going with Pam Bondi.
Start. Robert Garcia, the leader of House Democrats on the committee. I just want to be very clear that we continue to be incredibly disappointed of the decision to not have this interview videotaped and then released to the American public. The second thing we asked Chairman Comer is to ensure that this interview is under oath. We understand the Attorney General is going to be there answering.
Okay, so that kind of fucks up your narrative, right? That it was the Democrats that refused to put them under oath, right? They're saying we demanded that that Pam Bondi be under oath, and Comer said no. Keisha, thank you for sending your Antifa dues. Reminder, everybody, it is the end of the month. Antifa dues are here. You don't want to get charged a late charge, so let's make sure we get those in.
From Congress, but it should have been under oath, and it should be videotaped. We obviously have a lot of questions as it relates to why only 50% of the files have been released, why many of the survivors were literally put in danger by the way the files were released, that private information should never have been released, and of course, why this continues.
Yeah, take everything else out of it. The names of the accused were regularly redacted and blacked out, and the names of victims were left unprotected. That's just a coincidence? You don't think Republicans that was their way of threatening the witnesses who were alive and who were named? The few witnesses who didn't go under the name Jane Doe or John Doe? You think it was an accident that they released their names? Not only is it a cover-up, it's like mob-style threats. They threatened the victims. They put their names out there publicly. Somebody should pay for that. Pam Bondi's in front of them today, not under oath, going, it's Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche, for some reason, is there in the room. I don't know why the fuck Todd Blanche is in the room. He doesn't need to be in the room. He's in the room for one reason, because Trump called Comer and said, Todd Blanche needs to be there. And he's like, okay, I'll do whatever you want. So Todd Blanche is in the room. He's not just allowed to be in that room. They had to allow him in the room.
Be some type of cover-up. And so those are our questions. There's many questions. We'll be here for the next few hours. But it's really important that we get to the truth and that the Attorney General answers the questions truthfully. And we'll continue to push, of course, for a videotape release transcript for everybody else. So thank you very much. Yeah.
All right. Then here's Garcia again talking about the questions that they asked about Ghislaine Maxwell and the interference that they ran into.
Interesting that sitting next to her is DOJ counsel, somebody that currently works for the Department of Justice, who on multiple occasions stepped in and told the former Attorney General that she was not going to answer.
Amber, stay on subject, please. Last morning, we're talking about the Epstein files right now. We're going to talk about this and this only. You're here all the time. You know the rules. You want to stay, talk about what we're talking about.
Answer those questions, and especially when we ask questions of what the president directed her to do. And so the DOJ is in there right now stopping questions about President Trump and about...
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed this one. Roly-poly bolo. The files also contain Epstein's foreign investments in companies that currently surveil Americans, such as Carbine Connections. Releasing those would put the extent of foreign surveillance on Americans in the spotlight. Yes. Yes. Israel takes us to war. They make it so we can't release the Epstein files. This guy Fox says, has MAGA ever asked themselves how they got here? Just desperately defending an obvious predator every single day? That's a good question. That's a really good question. Have you guys asked yourself that question? Have you guys thought about that? How you got to a point where every day you're defending the pedophile?
What happened in the release of these files and why so many survivors were doxxed and their...
Amber, on subject, last morning. Next thing Amber says about Chinese Communist Party. We're talking about the Epstein files, Amber. That's it's your only option.
Information, of course, released to the public. And let me also just say, finally, before I turn this over to Liz, to Ms. Stein here, we asked questions about Ghislaine Maxwell and the transfer. And again, she referred those questions to Todd Blanche in the Bureau of Prisons. So let's be clear, we have many questions for Mr. Blanche and for the Bureau of Prisons that yet Republicans are refusing to ask. Why was she transferred to a less secure facility?
Amber needs a 20-minute mute. Thanks, mods.
And Ms. Bondi claims to have no knowledge of the actual transfer, no knowledge that it was a less secure prison, and didn't know about it until she found out after the fact, and then will refuse to answer additional questions. So let me introduce.
How'd that happen? How does Pam Bondi not know? Who's pulling the strings? Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche has been running the DOJ the entire time. Pam Bondi was just a face. Shocking that this administration used a woman as cover. Shocking, right? The party that abuses women. We'll just put up a woman as cover. This was actually I'll skip that one. Let's go to Melanie Stansbury, who has been critical in working with her state to get the state to investigate Zorro Ranch, which was Epstein's ranch in New Mexico, that for some reason the Department of Justice just never investigated. Garcia's first name is Robert. Is it Roberto or Robert? I can't remember if it's Roberto or Robert.
One of the Department of Justice attorneys intervened and said that she did not have to answer the question because it was a voluntary interview.
The Department of Justice, our government, who is covering up the Epstein files, intervened when Pam Bondi, not a member of the Department of Justice, was asked a question, and our government intervened and said, because this is voluntary, she doesn't have to answer. And you're with a straight face, you guys are going to pretend this isn't a cover-up. With a straight fucking face. No, nothing to see here.
And said, in fact, quote, "We don't even have to assert privilege because of that," and said, quote, "We refuse to provide answers."
Who's we? Who the fuck is we? It's Pam Bondi that's supposed to be answering. Why is the Department of Justice saying we? Why are they there? Why do they get to intervene? Why do they get to interject? The fuck is going on here in this country? You got, honestly, whoever asked that question, like, have you ever thought, like, how did you get here? Now you're here defending our government, telling you, shut the fuck up. Stop asking questions. We don't have to answer your questions. They represent you. David Thompson, address this. Address what I'm saying, or else you're gone. We'll give you another 10 minutes. Do you ever learn, man? Don't do whataboutism. You have to be an adult today. David, we're going to ask you. Explain to me why this Department of Justice currently is intervening and saying we don't have to answer questions. And if you say anything other than an answer to that question, can't talk about Democrats or previous administrations, then you're gone for the rest of the day, and we'll see you we'll see you on Monday.
That means that the United States Department of Justice is intervening on behalf of Pam Bondi to stop her from answering questions about what?
It's not hypocrisy, David. I'll give you one more chance. I'm not upset that both parties didn't release it. I'm upset that once it became law, and only this, and it's both parties, they voted for it. It's a law. Now that it's a law, this administration is actively covering it up. That's all we're talking about here. Stop sitting on the fence. I know it feels good. It feels nice to be penetrated that way. Feels nice at the start when you're just kind of sitting on it, teasing the fence sit, and now you're fully into the fence sit. Like you let your knees relax and you just dropped, right? And now you're fully penetrated by the fence. I understand that feels good. I get that. Finish up real quick. Bounce real quick. Get off the fucking fence and answer a question about why only one administration ever has been forced to release these files by law and is actively covering it up. That's the question we're asking. Your whataboutism, your fence-sitting bullshit, calling everybody else out because you refuse to answer direct questions. Nobody here believes that you're just like, I'm not left or right. I'm just calling balls and strikes. No, you're not. Only one administration's covering this up. I need an answer for that, please. Show that you're an adult today.
Happened in the cover-up of this case and her conversations with Donald Trump, and is asserting that she does not have to answer questions because she is not required to, because she is not being deposed under oath. This is a cover-up. This will be remembered as the largest cover-up likely in American history, and it is clear that this interview is a smokescreen to try to show the American people that they are complying.
David, that's remarkably stupid. Now it's a show. All credibility is lost. No, you're just MAGA. You're just trying. You're good at this. You're good at deflecting. I'm just going to say you're probably a nice person. This is some real bitch shit. This is like the bitchiest of bitch shit. Well, now it's just a show. No, it's not. Now is the only time it's been real. There's a fucking law that says you have to release this. And only Republicans are hiding it. That's some bitch shit from you, David. And nobody here is going to believe that you're not MAGA. And maybe you don't care about that, but as like a grown-up, I think that's some bitch shit. But these are victims here. These are victims here. And you're like, oh, well, they should really be upset at everybody. No, this is the first time anybody has ever given them any sort of justice or potential justice. And you're like, well, they covered up for so very long that now all credibility is lost. It wouldn't be. It shouldn't be. You're saying, look, the credibility is so lost that you don't care about the cover-up. No, I'm not better than that. I'm not calling. No, I'm not. This isn't name calling. I said you're probably a nice guy. This is bitch behavior. This is you being bitchy. I curse. You got to be tougher than that. And now I think you're more conservative, because the only people that ever get upset when we call names are conservatives. You get your feelings hurt. I don't believe you. Just be honest.
While they are not. Now, I also want to point out that there is not a single Republican in the room besides the chairman.
But for sure, it's both sides, right? All right. Going with the Epstein. This is what the Epstein class has given you. This is what being the party of covering up the Epstein files has given you. This is a man named Victor Marx, and we haven't covered Victor Marx yet. I didn't think I was ever going to cover Victor Marx, but now Victor Marx, according to many polls, is the leading candidate for the GOP for the governorship in Colorado. This is a insane man. He claims that he killed somebody when he was like 7 years old, that he was manipulated by his parents or his dad. He also claims that he's saved like thousands of people from human trafficking, that he has like beaten up human traffickers. He runs, I forget the name of his organization. He reminds me a lot of Tim Ballard, he's the guy that did like, what was that? Something Freedom. Whatever that sex trafficking movie was. Operation... He owned Operation Underground Railroad. What was that movie called? Does anybody remember? Something Freedom. Anyways, and then it turns out that he was just using that organization to trick married women into sleeping with him, and he sexually abused a bunch of women, including 2 people that I know personally. Which is, I mean, that's from he's from where I'm from, so I know some of those people. This looks exactly the same, and this has been actually like a pretty consistent through line, that the people that run these independent anti-trafficking organizations, they tend to traffic people. Sound of Freedom. Thank you, Bruce, Wayne's mother. They tend to traffic people. They tend to abuse women. They tend to hide behind this facade of saving everybody. And meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're committing sexual assault. That seems to maybe be the case here with Victor Marx. And Kyle Clark, who might be the best journalist in the country, catches Victor Marx lying about his claims of how many women and children he's saved.
I want to talk about some of the specifics of what you will share about your rescues. You said that...
Sound of Freedom is an awesome movie. It's also mostly lies. I enjoyed that movie, but most of it is made up, and it's mostly lies made to make them look better than they are.
You've performed more than 130 missions to rescue women and children from terror and abuse. Your organization says that you've saved women and children from 30 nations. 30 nations. That's a lot of countries. Could you list off a bunch of those for me?
Start with the first.
Yes, sir.
What did I say?
Can I just answer this real quick? Because who said that? This is, again, you guys not understanding how anything works. I don't remember who it was, but somebody said that I'm a liar because Merrick Garland would have released and indicted Trump for whatever I want to have happened. No. He wouldn't have. Nobody believes that. There's accusations about Trump. The person accusing him is dead. The other people are Jane Doe's. The statute of limitations is likely gone. The amount of evidence that you would need to even bring charges isn't there. None of these people are going to be charged. These victims know that they're not going to get justice in the courts. They want their names smeared. They want people to know what they did, but there's not going to be justice for these victims. There will never be justice for these victims. They will never get back what was taken from them, and they will never see these people behind bars. But these people can be brought in. You should know. You should know the accusations against Trump, and you can make up your own mind. But you guys don't even make up your own mind. You hear that there's an accusation against Trump, and you just immediately don't believe it. You don't understand how any of this works. Merrick Garland, the earliest he could have released any of this stuff was like the end of 2023 when Ghislaine Maxwell's appeals were exhausted. Until then, there's laws against releasing that information because of ongoing investigations. So no, he couldn't have released that. It took an act of Congress changing the law. Congress had to make a new law to force the release. The DOJ can't just go and violate the law and release things. It took an act of Congress to get this released. That's just a story that you're telling yourself so that you don't have to believe any of this shit. And it's sad. And as somebody who grew up in a cult, we told ourselves a lot of stories. I remember telling myself the story that the reason that Mormons didn't allow black people to have the priesthood was to protect black people. Because black people were treated so poorly that if they had the priesthood, if they held positions of power in the Mormon church, that their lives would be at risk. And then later on, I realized that one, my education in Utah of civil rights history was lacking, and two, that they changed that rule in 1978 when the entire NCAA was boycotting them because they wouldn't allow black people to have the priesthood. There were black preachers all over the country, and there had been for decades. But I told myself that lie for a long time too. I know what it's like to lie to myself. I know what it's like to convince myself that the Mormon prophets, the Mormon leadership early on, only practiced polygamy because so many of their men were persecuted and were murdered that the women needed protection, so they had to marry these men. And then I found out that, like, wait a minute, some of those women were actually children. Some of those women already had husbands who were alive, and they were forced to marry. And you can go read their journal entries about how they were forced to marry men 40 years their senior, and then as teenagers they were, I guess we're on TikTok, raped. And I remember lying to myself about that. Like, I've literally lied for 30 years of my life to myself that sexual abuse didn't take place in my cult, and I believed it wholeheartedly. You would not have been able to convince me otherwise. You could have provided me any amount of evidence, and I would not have believed you. I would have done exactly what you're doing. I would immediately dismiss it, and I would dismiss it as you, like, oh, you just hate Mormonism. You just hate our religion because we're right, because we know the truth, and you can't stand it. I've done all this shit that you guys are doing. I ignored it when my church covered up sexual abuse from leadership, or there's this thing in the Mormon church, and I don't know if it still exists, but up until like a couple years ago it existed, where if you were a church leader and somebody came to you and either confessed abuse of a sexual nature, whether it's with children or adults, if they came to you and confessed, you called who? Not the police. You called the church's attorneys. And so we have thousands and thousands and thousands of cases that went unreported of sexual abuse of children. But if you would have told me that when I was still Mormon, I wouldn't have believed you. So, like, I have some understanding, not empathy. I don't have empathy for you because you don't deserve empathy for that. I was wrong for what I did. But that's who you are. That's why nobody here really takes you seriously. Like, that's why we say words like cult. And most of you will never admit it. Most of you will never realize that you were in a cult. That's why cults work. Nobody ever comes up to you and is like, hey, do you want to join my cult? And you're like, fuck yeah, I've been looking for a cult. You never know that. In fact, it's always like, hey, we're very different. We're very different. And when you join our group, there's going to be a lot of people that hate you. There's going to be a lot of accusations that you're going to hear about us. We just need you to know that none of those accusations are true. That's just what people who hate us say. I have a friend recently who, like, going through a divorce, and they wound up getting in a new relationship. And the first thing in that new relationship that happened is the person started saying, like, hey, all these people in my life, my ex-wife, her family, all of our friends, my older kids, all of them are going to tell, like, all of them are crazy. They're all nuts, and they just hate me. So they make up lies about me, about how, like, I'm abusive and how I hit my kids and I hit my wife. And so that person's like, oh, okay. And then, like, during that, they wind up, like, going to court, and in court they find, like, oh yeah, he did hit his kids. Oh, he did hit his wife. Oh, he is an alcoholic. He is all of these things. And that friend is just like, no, those people are all crazy. And it's wild to watch that. It's like, how is everybody wrong? Everybody but that one person, everybody but that abuser is wrong. And that's what Donald Trump has done to all of you. You know that he lies. You all know that he lies. You know things that he's lied about from day one. You know that he's a liar, but it doesn't bother you. And now you're so far removed from those lies that you have changed those lies. And now you believe that those lies are true. And now Donald Trump has morphed himself into an untouchable godlike figure where every bit of corruption he does is ignored by you. Everyone. I recognize this behavior, and anybody, go talk to a single person who has escaped a cult and start talking to them about your beliefs, and within 5 minutes they'll be like, oh shit, you're in a cult. Yeah, you're in a cult. You're doing all the cult shit. And you don't know. You never fucking know when you're in a cult. So any of you saying I'm not in a cult, fuck, nobody cares. Nobody ever in a cult has been like, I'm totally in a cult. It's a cult, and it's tough. It's really, really tough to watch. My empathy for you is that you are perpetuating harm on other people. And that if you ever figure it out, you're going to feel like shit for a long time. Like if you're honest with yourself and you figure this out someday, you're going to feel like shit. Go check, like, look at Ashley St. Clair's apology tour right now. Go watch her. She feels like absolute shit. And she's consistently talking about, like, yeah, I feel bad. All these groups I demonized, all these people I was willing to, like, talk shit about. I was anti-Semitic. I was racist. She feels terrible. It's not a good feeling, I can tell you. It is not a good feeling. I don't like that I was part of a group that said if we let gay people get married, then that'll lead to people marrying their pets. I don't like that I was part of that group. But at the time, I was like, oh, that makes total sense. Where does it stop? It's a slippery slope. If everybody can get married, then what's to stop people from marrying their own kids in a religion that I was in where people like married kids? Cult's calling, gotta go. Yeah. All right, let's get back to this guy. I'm just going to start it over because we forgot. Once again, this is Victor Marx, who allegedly runs a child sex trafficking, or I guess an anti-child sex trafficking organization. And this is the GOP's candidate for governor in Colorado. I'll let it play. I won't stop it. It is so obvious how much of a liar this guy is, and how confident he is when he lies. Invader said, for nuclear dolphin repellent fund, thank you. This guy Fox says, I've seen a shocking amount of Marx signs in Colorado. Yeah, this is like a way worse version of Spencer Pratt. Why are all your politicians the worst? Spencer Pratt, Victor Marx, fucking who's that? Ken Paxton. All of them. They're all like pedophile protectors. It's crazy. Walter said, happy Friday. Thanks again for the opportunity to speak. Appreciate my friend. Always leaves.
I want to talk about some of the specifics of what you will share about your rescues. You said that you've performed more than 130 missions to rescue women and children from terror and abuse. Your organization says that you've saved women and children from 30 nations. 30 nations. That's a lot of countries. Could you list off a bunch of those for me?
Start with the first.
Yes, sir.
What did I say?
You said that, this in 2024, you said that you've performed more than 130, quote, missions to rescue women and children from terror and abuse. Is what you said factually true, that you have performed more than 130 missions to rescue women and children from terror and abuse?
Where do you cite that?
You said that on X on August 12th of 2024.
That's not something I believe I would ever say.
Your full quote was, I wrote this book, Dangerous Gentlemen,
yes,
after 130 plus missions to rescue women and children from terror and abuse. So that's not true, what you wrote.
I wouldn't, that doesn't sound accurate, that I would specify how many missions.
Okay, I'm happy to provide you with
his own tweet.
A copy afterwards.
Thanks.
Yep. Your organization claims that you've saved women and children in 30 nations. And I was wondering if you could list off a bunch of those countries.
Saved or helped?
Quote, saved women and children in 30 nations. That was from the Protecting Children's Innocence Task Force fact sheet.
Well, I would say check with Buddy. Again, our commander, I don't hold on to stats.
But I mean, you're the CEO.
By the way, this person's endorsed by Lauren Boebert.
The organization. If you really have saved women and children in 30 nations, you could name off a bunch, right?
I don't memorize every place that we've gone.
Okay.
That's why I got a passport.
Obviously. All right, David, I think it's clear that you are MAGA. I want Epstein files completely released. Perhaps it's the last 10 years of relentless persecution that has me fatigued. Let's talk about that persecution. Russia, 37 indictments, multiple people, including Trump's campaign manager, pled guilty to working with Russia. It wasn't a hoax. It wasn't relentless prosecution or persecution. It was a Republican who led that investigation. The Trump campaign was absolutely guilty of working with Russia. It is clear. It's been nobody has ever debunked any part of Mueller's investigation. Bogus impeachment. It wasn't bogus. You can impeach the president. It wasn't bogus. Bogus lawfare. He lost all 3 cases. Anonymous leaks. That's fine. That happens in every presidency. January 6th, where Trump tried to stage an insurrection. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, all of those things are crimes that he actually committed, and the fact that you think that none of those things were real, or like that those were all like fake prosecutions, is exactly what we're talking about. You're not on the fence. You're pretending to be on the fence. You just like how it feels. You like that you don't have to defend Trump. I think you are doing the exact behavior I accused you of. It's some bitch shit. You're just a MAGA who's afraid to even be MAGA. All that shit was crazy. Yeah, thank you. Trump was impeached twice, and he would have been removed from office for January 6th. The only reason he wasn't removed from office in January 6th is because the Republicans in the Senate said, what's the point? He's already gone. We'd remove him, but we can't. That's what Lindsey Graham said. We would remove him, but we can't because he's already out of office, so there's nothing we can do here. He already lost. It's silly. It's silly that was your response, honestly. Let's get back, though, to Victor Marx. Here he is talking about killing a man when he was 7. And then in the darkest, strangest, if this doesn't kill his candidacy, MAGA, we've got to have a real discussion on your mental acuity and your ability to make decisions for yourselves.
Your claim that your abusive stepfather forced you to...
No, Tehran says no ceasefire deal, even though Trump says there is. Surprise, surprise, wonder who made millions off another fake deal. Jesus.
Kill a man when you were 7 years old. Is that the only person you've ever killed?
David, I'll get to those in a second, and I'm going to need an apology from you in a second. I'll get to that, David. Hang tight.
Well, I would say...
Is that the only person? Let's do that again. This answer should be quicker. Sorry.
That your abusive stepfather forced you to kill a man when you were 7 years old. Is that the only person you've ever killed?
No. Or yes. No or yes is a quick answer.
Well, I would say as a child, yes. I mean, without question.
No, and I literally criticized Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton earlier today, and I criticize Democrats all the time. So, yes, you might be new here.
But I've been in other situations where, possibly people or persons died as a result of me defending myself and other...
Possibly? This is the leading candidate for governor in the GOP. I don't think you guys know how to pick people anymore. I don't think you're aware of anything. I think you're all just sitting around waiting to see who Trump endorses. This isn't going to bother you. This isn't going to bother Colorado MAGA. They're just going to wait around and see if Trump endorses him. And if Trump endorses him, he will win the nomination for the GOP. You have to admit this is fucking crazy, that this person is the leading candidate in your party.
Countries.
Do you think that you've killed people as an adult?
Does it matter?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Why?
Killing somebody is a pretty weighty thing.
If someone's trying to kill you or you're in combat?
It's still a weighty thing to take somebody else's life. I mean, it could be self-defense, it could be justified, but it's still a weighty thing. So I'm just asking you, how many people have you killed?
Well, if I did, I wouldn't be telling a reporter sitting here in my training center.
How about voters? Would you tell?
Why? Why wouldn't you tell a reporter? But also, why? So yes. Is he on ketamine? I don't know. I have no idea. I can't. Let's not bicker over who killed who. Yeah. This is who he is. You don't have to be if we go through members of Congress and you just watch interviews of them, the MAGA members of Congress, they're all psychopaths. You ever seen Eli Crane speak? You ever seen who's that guy south of here in Arizona with the crazy comb over? His whole family's like, please don't put him in office. He's a crazy person. Not Gomer. It's somebody help me with his name if anybody remembers. These are all crazy people. MAGA attracts crazy now. And a lot of you are just pretending that this isn't happening.
Voters.
There's no need. I don't think that's important. It's actually kind of It's an odd question to me.
Because you actually talk about the idea of killing people with some frequency, and why it's a necessary thing to do, killing people. You said on NRA TV in 2017, now a lot of them just got to be killed. I've had them shoot at me, and I had to shoot back. There's a time and place.
He killed somebody. Have you seen the Dow? Checkmate, libs.
To eliminate the enemy, and you have to. You said on Jeff Lerner's podcast in 2025, some people have to get killed. Some people have
Gosart. Well done, Stargazer. Paul Gosart. Go look at Paul Gosart.
Have to die. But it's an odd question to ask you how many people you've killed.
Yes.
You claim that you once called in a U.S. military airstrike that killed 70 ISIS fighters. I didn't realize that civilians could essentially facilitate military airstrikes. Could you walk me through how that worked?
No.
The fuck? No, we can't agree that communists shouldn't be in government. They can be in government if they get voted in. That's fine. None of this, like, imagine watching MAGA put this guy up and you're like, yeah, but you know what would be worse than a serial liar who murders people? A communist. Yeah, that'd be so bad if one single vote as a member of Congress believed in communism. Oh no, what would we do?
Parents are like brainwashed into thinking that this is a good thing when really.
Oh, sorry. This is a Canadian woman who claims that she was sold to Victor Marx. This has got trigger warning. A lot of bleeps here. This is a woman who claims that she was sold by her parents, I think, for $25,000 to Victor Marx. The party of protecting pedophiles. The problem that you guys have is that it's so easy to trick you. They just like, oh, we care. Like, think about that. Like, MAGA was the one that was running on like, oh, we're gonna unveil these secrets. It was Pam Bondi said this all the time. Trump said it. Trump didn't say it actually that often. I take that back. Trump did not run on releasing the Epstein files. He was pretty lukewarm on that. Kash Patel, though, was like, yeah, we're going to do it. Dan Bongino's like, yeah, we're going to do it. And then they got in, they're like, oh, we're not going to do it after all. They all just tell you what you want to hear. It's all hyperbolic. And then they actually turn out to all be creeps.
I was sold to Victor Marx, literally. I was sold. They got money out of this. They got tons of money out of this. Anastasia Cash and her boyfriend and her husband did.
Do you know how much money they received?
$25,000, I believe.
$25,000.
Soko, we're talking about this psychopath right now in Colorado. You need to stay on subject, or we got to mute you.
To the people that delivered you to Victor Marx.
That's right.
From Victor Marx.
Yeah.
And did your parents receive money off this as well?
My dad did. Yeah.
Do you know how much he received?
I don't know how much.
Soko, last chance, bud.
She received. I'm not really buying that he had money saved and all this because, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon, My dad was on disability. He had somewhat PTSD from being a radio person in the military. I know. Crazy, right?
This is probably a controversial opinion, but like, if we want to talk about waste, fraud, and abuse, we probably need to talk about the waste, fraud, and abuse for military. It probably needs to be investigated. And I hate saying this because there are a lot of people in this country who have served in the military and have legitimate claims to PTSD. But we go after poor people all the time. Republicans consistently go after poor people for waste, fraud, and abuse. SNAP recipients, any sort of like Medicare or like child care recipients. There's a lot of people that have like traumatic brain injuries or PTSD or like medical discharges from the military. And you're like, what happened to you? And they're like, I tore my meniscus. And you're like, wait, hold on. So you have disability the rest of your life for a torn meniscus? Yeah. But you have PTSD from your time in the military? Yeah, what were you? I was an analyst. I mean, if our analysts, if things are so crazy in our military that our analysts are getting PTSD, we might not be doing things right. But it's amazing. There's that guy, Caleb Hammer, who I fucking can't stand. I cannot stand Caleb Hammer. That guy sucks. He just brings people on and uses their bad financial decisions so that he can shit on people. And he loves shitting on like liberals. But he's been on this too. He's like, it's amazing how many times somebody comes in and they have a full-time job. They're working full-time. They walk in, they're fine. Full-time job, like it's a job that they like work with their hands, they're on their feet. And then they also have medical disability from the military that says like they're on disability the rest of their life, but they're fully functional. So there's probably needs to be some discussion about that as well from Republicans. Now, I don't think that's anywhere near the top of our list of things we should look at first. But if Republicans are talking about like actual waste, fraud, and abuse, perhaps we start talking about that. And why don't we? Because waste, fraud, and abuse, when Republicans care about it, is just directed at like marginalized people. They would never do this for the military because we have to respect the military. Unless the military, the people in the military are black or brown or trans or LGBTQ or liberal, in which case we have to remove them because diversity is not a strength.
But yeah, it wasn't great growing up. You know, we had to go to food banks. I'd be straight up. We had to go to food banks. You know, we were struggling. And then suddenly, just out of the blue, he gets money. He gets 2 houses, 2 properties in Ocean Falls, right? Like, where the fuck is the money coming from? I know where it came from. He admitted it. He admitted he got ferry money to go over there from Victor Marx, which I'm not buying. He has quads. He has all this. Yeah, where do you get the money? Seriously, it's not adding up.
At what
So,
point,
yeah, I believe my dad was involved.
at what point did you figure out you were going to the United States? Was it while you were on the road to Kelowna? Was it when you finally hit the border?
They told me before that we're going to the United States and Colorado. But they didn't tell me after I knew, like before I knew about the counseling, before I knew about anything. They told me after, and I was like, I did not agree to that. I am Canadian. There's no reason for me to go to America. Like,
So we can stop it there. The leading candidate for governor in Colorado is a liar who claims to have killed multiple people, claims that he saved thousands of people from 30 different countries, claims he called in a military strike as a civilian, and also has an accusation that he bought a child. In California, your leading candidate is a dude who went bankrupt, refused to get insurance on his house, a trust fund kid who was on reality TV, doesn't seem to understand any of the policies of California, and you guys still are like, yeah, Spencer Pratt's our guy. They have dumbed you down something fierce. Republicans didn't used to believe such dumb shit. It didn't used to be this easy to convince Republicans to vote for an idiot, but here we are. And the reason for that is nobody with a brain or self-respect would run to be a MAGA politician right now. I find it hilarious that RTP, Candace, and Anna Kasparian are all on the same page. Oh, are they covering this too? Is Candace Owens covering this too? That's crazy. All right, sorry, mayor, not governor. Thanks, David. Running for mayor. Thank you. I forgot about I said governor, but I meant mayor. Thank you. All right. Perhaps the reason that you guys are all so very confused and don't understand fraud is because everybody that you listen to is also a fraudster. Quick, name me a conservative content creator, a conservative voice that you can't provably show corruption with, or show that they're bought and paid for. I don't know of any. Ben Shapiro, completely bought and paid for by the Koch brothers. He was your biggest for a while. Benny Johnson, literally taking money from Russia. Tim Pool took money from Russia. Still taking money from these big PACs and these big dark money organizations. Is there anybody? And now there's accusations against Patrick Bet-David. I've long said that Patrick Bet-David's a fucking idiot. Rob Noor. Well, Rob Noor's is interesting. The Crucible crowd is really, really interesting. So Andrew Wilson, and I think Rob is like under Andrew somehow. If you look at his views, they're not very high. Like he does okay. There's like the Crucible following is big enough that they do okay. But the amount of super chats that they get, they'll have like 300 people and they'll bring in like $3,000 in super chats. Either there's money being funneled in, or like all of their fans are super wealthy, which is crazy to be a super wealthy person and find yourself listening to Rob Noor, but they get a crazy amount of money. Like I bet if you took Rob's like percentage of super chats versus his views, he'd be like one of the highest on YouTube. Nobody makes that kind of money off of super chats. It's very weird. Like when I used to go on Raging Tomato and do those debates, I was always shocked. Like at the end, it's like you can give like, I think it's like $5 to ask a question. And it would be like somebody would give like $300 and they'd be like, tell this guy he's gay. I'm like, Jesus, you spent $300 to tell me I was gay? You could just put it in the chat. I'll see it. It was crazy the amount of money that would pour in there. So I don't know. I'm not making an accusation that they get dark money, but it is wild how much money pours in for relatively small audiences sometimes. All right. So Patrick Bet-David, if you'll recognize his voice here. He has the PBD podcast. He made his fortune in an MLM. He says that he sold, like he had an insurance company, but what it was is they sold insurance and they pushed it into an MLM model. So the commission structure obviously worked from like you made most of your money if you had people underneath you. And anytime you have an MLM, even when you have a good product, you have to make the product far more expensive than you need to because you have to pay out all these commissions. So a lot of times, like I grew up in Utah, so doTERRA is a huge MLM. I don't know what it costs to provide, like to make a little vial of essential oils, but that little vial of essential oils from doTERRA would be like, $12-15 per vial. I bet it costs less than $1. Where's most of that money going? It's going into that structure. Patrick Bet-David, that's how he made all of his money. Then he took a lot of that money and he started running these events and he paid famous people. You can find videos of some of my favorite interviews with Kobe Bryant are with Patrick Bet-David. He had on like Tom Brady. I think he had Mike Tyson. He would bring in all of these people and he would do one-on-one interviews to make it look like he was friends with them. He'd always call them by their first name. And so he used his money to create a platform that made him look like he had credibility. Then he did the PBD podcast because money, like if you want to make money, go into right-wing politics, especially if you can figure out a way to get your face out there. And he became a right-wing politician. And like all of these right-wing, or not politician, political analysts, and like all of them, they are soulless cowards who will take money from fucking anybody. They don't care. They don't do any due diligence. So Patrick Bet-David got involved with this company called Goliath. And what Patrick Bet-David says is that this company would come to his events for 3 or 4 years. He knew them. And then they became a title sponsor of his program, of his events. Goliath was a Ponzi scheme. They were buying up Bitcoin and then they were paying out like 3 to 4% per month in returns. If anybody promises you 3 to 4% returns, it's a Ponzi scheme. That's 36% annually, 36 to 48% annually. If anybody promises you those returns, and they were promised, they were guaranteed, it's a Ponzi scheme. And then they found out, of course, they project like Bitcoin. They're like, oh, if Bitcoin goes up just 5% every month, we can pay out this 3 to 4% every month, and we still get that 1% free money. There's our 1%. And they never do it. They always wind up dipping in. And so they were stealing money. They were hosting events. They were buying cars. They were buying houses. They were paying themselves. They were living these lavish lifestyles. And Patrick Bet-David, as bringing them in as a title sponsor, was regularly like plugging them on his podcast, plugging him as a title sponsor, talking about how it was a safe investment. He's known these guys for years. You should put your money in with them. And then it turns out it's a Ponzi scheme. And he got a couple $1 million. This has been exposed. Goliath is in trouble. And CoffeeZilla emailed Patrick Bet-David and was like, hey, dude, like, we've got to talk about this because obviously you took money. I want to know if you did your due diligence. Are you going to pay this money back? I think it's $1 million or $2 million. Patrick Bet-David's net worth is hundreds of millions of dollars. He can give this money back. So CoffeeZilla is just going to interview Patrick Bet-David on the phone. And again, I just want you to recognize a pattern. Republicans, whether you like him or not, I want you to recognize the pattern of what Republicans have been doing and what they always do, where they will not answer questions and they deflect everything. Patrick Bet-David, I hope to God this is the end of Patrick Bet-David. I have a feeling, though, that we'll see in the chat a bunch of people will just defend him because he's on the right and they're in a cult.
Hello? quick update. Patrick Bet David reached out to me shortly after I posted saying that he has to apologize. He should address the whole Christopher Delgado situation. That video is here. I uploaded it because I thought it is not going to make sense what we're talking about unless you have that context. He immediately DM'd me, said, hey, look, I want to call. So I'm posting this video immediately afterwards, unedited, because I want you guys to hear my call with Patrick Bet David. I addressed the apology. You know, you should apologize for taking this guy on, this Ponzi scheme. You promoted it. You'll hear me talk about the $1 million. Say, hey, can you commit right now to getting this money back to the victims of this scheme? And finally, I asked him, you know, what he has to say to the, you know, people who go to his Vault conference and want answers. Okay, just confirming that I'm recording starting now. This is Patrick Bet David. We're talking about the Vault conference sponsored the Goliath Ventures. Look, ultimately the big question is this. One, are you returning the $1 million paid to your consulting company back to the receivership, back to the victims? And
now that's important to point out here. It's not just paying the money back to Goliath. It's that the victims are owed money because they were scammed. And so if he gave this $100 million back, it would go into the receivership and the victims would be paid back for the money that they lost. Again, a guy that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars easily can give up $1 million. This should be a very quick call. Yep, we are. We helped push this product. It was obviously a scam. We didn't do our due diligence. We're going to send that $1 million back. It wouldn't hurt Patrick Bet David in the slightest. Right? I would venture that most of you, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, in this scenario, when finding out that you helped perpetuate a fraud, would just give the money back. That's the right thing to do, right?
two, I mean, you know, like, I think, look, a lot of people got hurt in this. You were the number one, probably, credibility person in this. How does that feel? I mean, are you going to apologize? Are you going to address it, like, you know, publicly? I think people want to know. People look to you, you know, as this entrepreneurship guy. It is, frankly, a bad look.
Yeah, so first of all, you hate to see things like this. Hate to see things like this.
Is PBD also a victim? No. He got $1 million. How would he be a victim? He made $1 million promoting a scam.
That happens. And every once in a while this takes place. You know, when an issue like this comes up.
What? Call just dropped? Bro? Hold on, let me call him back. Patrick, how's it going?
Okay, I'm good now. I'm in the backyard. Service is good. Go for it.
We're back. Okay, so just to recap the question, you've got $1 million coming to you from Goliath Ventures. And first of all, I'd like to know where that's money's going. Secondly, you know, a lot of people got hurt by this. You are the number one.
He's a numbers guy. Somebody watches Patrick Bet David. 1 million, that's a number. Patrick Bet David is notorious for saying I'm a numbers guy. Until we get to these numbers, then he's going to be a explainer guy.
Like voice of credibility in all of this, kind of putting this guy on, so to speak. I mean, you know, what do you have to say to people who lost money? I mean, do you apologize to them? Like, what can you do to make it right? All these questions.
Yeah, so look, all valid questions. This is, you know, typically when we do sponsorship, if you know anything about me, Stephen,
I fucking hate this about Patrick Bet David so fucking much. He's such a goddamn snake. He does this every time when asked a direct question. He reframes and he says, here's what the question should actually be. And now he's going to be like, if you know anything about me, he's going to try and force you to attack his character rather than address the claim here. No, nobody knows anything about you, Patrick Bet David. And by the way, CoffeeZilla and Patrick Bet David have a history. When CoffeeZilla basically exposed that he made all of his money in an MLM and that it was kind of scammy. And Patrick Bet David's entire defense was, do you think I would be here if I was a scammer? That's what every scammer ever has said.
I hate doing sponsorships. We stopped doing sponsorships on the podcast 2 years ago because of this exact reason. We literally stopped. It's probably cost us $15 to $20 million of sponsorship the last 2 years. The only place we've taken sponsorship money for, outside of the basic YouTube AdSense that you get, that you're accustomed to it as well, we do the events. So if I do a Vault conference, there's a moment for networking and people set up their booth. And so this guy...
This is Patrick Bet David, by the way.
Came to the Vault conference for the last 4 years.
While we're looking there, I'll put that back up. I'm just going to show you pictures of Patrick Bet David so you can figure out who you're listening to.
And at the end of it, one of my reps comes up to me. I've never spoken to him. We've seen him at the event, typically with everybody else. And he says he wants to be the title sponsor. Okay, great. He goes through the whole thing. We go through the background that our legal team does. Obviously, we make reference calls. We call others to see.
Thank you, Stacy, for those June Antifa dues. And just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded. We got about, unlike Patrick Bet David, we don't have giant sponsors. They got about an hour and hour and 20 minutes left. If you want to help us knock out that gift goal by the end of the live, that would be greatly appreciated. That's how Jen and I keep our lights on. And that's how Jen can keep her internet going to keep her Tinder roster locked and loaded.
What they can say about him, and we call people that we had known for 10 plus years.
Nobody flagged him. Nope, nobody flagged the 4 to 5% a year or a month. I'm sorry.
No, it's a fair question. It's the most disappointing thing. Not one person that's done business with him flagged him. Okay?
How the fuck? Sorry, I said 3 to 4%. 4 to 5% was their guaranteed returns monthly. Between 48 and 60% annually returns, and nobody flagged it. They didn't do due diligence. What Patrick Bet David's legal team does is they make sure that they can't be sued. That's it. They don't care that this guy's a scammer. They just want to make sure that in their documentation, they can't be sued so that they can take this dirty money.
Right. And so then we say, great, let's go through the sponsorship. Now, when you do sponsorship, you have to deliver on stuff. So meaning we have to set up the booth. We have to set up all these different...
yeah, it's so disappointing that I'm not paying you any money back. Yeah.
Place where people walk up to them, these 20 by 30, 30 by 30, 40 by 40 booth that you create for them, that they have an opportunity for people to go through. So we flew in. Typically when somebody becomes a sponsor, we fly in, we meet them in Vegas, and then we show them, or whatever hotel we're going to be at.
Remember, the question was, are you going to pay this money back? If it ever takes somebody this long to give you an answer, they're lying. They just want to know if you're paying the money back.
Hey, here's your location. You're the title sponsor. We're going to put it here. And then, their logo is going to be in different places, but it's not a endorsement. So it's not like I endorse. It's a sponsorship.
It does feel like an endorsement, though.
You're right. No, you're right. I agree. And by the way, again, we learn. So for us, we...
Sure, learn, but also pay the money back would be a good idea.
Said we're going to do two, what do you call it? The Vault Conference is brought to you by Goliath. Okay, so we did that a couple times because that was part of the title sponsor. By the way, we've changed our entire title sponsor stuff that we're doing, where if it's not like a Fortune, 2000 company, we don't even want to entertain it. Because sometimes the best way is to make sure other investors have...
What we learned is we can only work with Fortune 200 companies who don't want to work with him, by the way.
Vetted them. And listen, in this space, there's a lot of risk in any of this space you get into.
Right, but he's...
You're a podcaster and you host events. That's not a lot of risk. People pay months in advance to attend your conferences. What's the risk? The risk is that this event that you pay for might direct you to invest with scammers. That's the risk. The risk is you might get caught advocating a scam to the people who paid to come to your conference.
The title sponsor, this is just last year. This isn't like 5 years ago.
No, you're right.
And it was 3 endorsements. At one point it sounded like an ad read. You're like, the 3 pillars or this. It read like ad copy the way you're reading it.
No, we never did endorsement. We said it's sponsored. And by the way, just so you know,
you can hear what he says. You can go and you can check yourself. But he literally just talks about how great they are. That we've been with them forever. We trust them. Goliath is a great company. It's a safe place to put your money. He doesn't say I endorse, but he tells people. He gives a recommendation. This is so slimy by PBD. These are the people that you guys get your news from, by the way. They're all just imagine knowing that they will lie about something this obvious. Do you think they're telling you the truth about their information that they get? Do you think that they're honest about how they come to their political opinions? Probably not, right? What does Patrick Bet David clearly care about more than anything in the world? Money. Why do you think he's so adamant that he side with this administration? Because they side with the rich people. They give them all tax breaks.
There's certain things I can't talk about. There's certain things I can because
Nasri said, I hope these numbers help you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
we're cooperating with the federal authorities, and we're having meetings with them. We're having conversations with them. All of this stuff will be public. We've learned a lot of things about
You've
this
been
guy on-
subpoenaed, right? Like you have been subpoenaed, correct?
Of course, absolutely.
So are you going to turn the money over? That seems to be an important question.
That's the conversation we're in right now, and you will hear all about it when the decision is made.
Well, what decision? I feel like we could make a decision now and do a good thing, you know?
Stephen, I know what you're doing. The part that you don't know about the way I do.
Yeah, we all know what he's doing. He's asking you if you're going to give the money back. What do you mean I know what you're doing? Just asking if you're going to give the money back.
Business, you know I don't avoid you. Meaning, if you and I did something together many years, I'm not a guy that's going to be sitting there running, avoiding. When we make
He just asked if you're giving the money back. Maybe none of you even care about this. I fucking hate Patrick Bet David and everybody like this. And anybody who ever talks to you like this is a fucking scammer. But this is this is literally the entirety of the GOP now. We just don't answer questions. We are so fucked with the right wing of this country right now. We can't have any conversation with anybody ever. I beg you guys to talk to me every single day. And it's legitimately living in a different reality. You can check my rant from yesterday. I don't want to freak the fuck out again today, but Jesus Christ, everything you believe is a lie or an obfuscation.
Make mistakes, we'll call it out. When we do things that is right, great, we're celebrated. This is not one of the things that we're celebrating. We're not happy about this, and we're doing a lot of things behind closed doors. The part that
but just give the money back though. Just shut the fuck up and give the money back. How many words has he said without saying anything? I know what you're doing. This isn't that easy. We're talking behind closed doors. There's other conversations. When we have those conversations, we'll tell you about those conversations. This is more complex than you think it is. It's not. Just give back the $1 million to the poor victims who lost their money that you told them it was a safe investment. Just give the money back.
I'll give you one part that I think it's important to know, and for your audience to know, the part that a lot of people they're concerned with, and I'm talking specifically the authorities, is the people that were working with them getting paid big money. Those are the ones that they're targeting in a big way. We've not, this wasn't you know how sometimes you do certain crypto deals and it's like, hey, if
No, he would never take a crypto deal because he's not a fucking crook. I love this look. No, I don't know how I do certain crypto deals.
you're going to get this much money for this affiliate. Zero. We didn't accept nothing like that. So there isn't, hey, we're going to pay you an additional, 10% on whatever that's done. Zero. We don't do business.
Right. You got paid the million.
Yeah, nobody asked. Like, we didn't even get paperhead. Yeah, you got $1 million. Just wondering if you're going to give that back.
You got paid the $1 million, right? And so,
$1 million
and look, I'm not. I know it sounds like I'm trying to put you on the spot. I'm not. It just seems like you're gonna have to fork it over eventually for the receivership.
Spartan, this is Patrick Bet David. Nobody's complaining about Trump right now. Or this is again like you're too crazy and in a fucking cult to talk to. We're talking about Patrick Bet David right now, and this is CoffeeZilla. Nobody's talking about Trump. When we say you live in a different reality, this is what we mean. Nobody's even talking about Trump. You're in here, you're at work, taking a shit, not understanding anything that's being said here.
Anyways, like so many people lost money. It seems like an easy win,
And that's the part where, that's the part where I'm in right now. You gotta respect that part that I'm going with. I gave you the respect of getting on a call with you and giving you the information. The information will come out.
No, I appreciate it. So you're not sure whether you're paying the money back yet or not. You're having those conversations.
But here's the other part that you also don't know. You don't know if we're doing other things with the conversations we're having with others. There's a lot of different things that we're doing that's not public. The only thing
like what? Just give the fucking money back. This guy's so slimy. I can't stand Patrick Bet David. Why do you watch these people? We gotta get rid of your whole like influencer ecosystem. It's all a fucking scam. And that's why you guys are all so poorly informed. Because they're all just in it for money, and they just want to keep you angry and misinformed. And every day you show up and prove that they're doing a great job.
you know is the stuff that you're hearing.
Okay.
What we have to do right now is individually, as we're going through this, a matter of fact, I'll make a commitment to you. Once everything is finalized with this, you'll be the first phone call that I'll make to share with you, because over the years you've been fair to me, and I respect the fact that we have
Yeah, but
this
what if you just gave the money back instead?
relationship. I think you do a very good job. This was definitely not a good look. We're not happy about this ourselves. I take 100% of responsibility as the face of this company, and we have to get better next time. We just do.
Right. So obviously y'all are about to run the Vault Conference again. You know, it might be a reasonable concern.
And guess what? You want to know something? We're about to run the Vault Conference again, and we don't have a title sponsor for this exact reason.
Because you were worried about it, or no?
By the way, this guy's net worth is $350 million. You can just give $1 million back. These poor people that invested, that lost their money, but he needs that $1 million.
But he coughed up the million.
No, not because we don't have people that don't want to be titled.
Okay.
Not because we don't have people that don't want to be titled. Because as you run a company and you go through building a business, one of my previous companies, you and I talked about, I sold it 4 years ago. You're going to make a lot of business as an operator. You have to make adjustments and improve. You just do. And so for us, as we sat there with our team and our executive team, we said, what do we need to do for this not to happen again? Well, guess what? The criteria
I would have said we should know that anybody promising 60% returns annually is a scam, and we should give the money back and not let obvious scams be our title sponsor. That's what I would do if I was on their team.
The title sponsor just became more difficult. And so it's not something that...
Curious if PBD gets disability from his military service. Well, I think, didn't he serve in the Iranian army? He served. Did he serve in the United States military? I thought he served. Isn't he from Iran?
We spent a lot of money on this event. This is not like an event that we do that is a small event. There's a lot of hard costs for the event. But it changed the guidelines. It changed the guidelines on who we're going with, and we'll
he was in the army. He was E7? Okay, I did not know that.
Entertain different levels of sponsors, but even right now, the lowest level of sponsorship, we're declining.
He was a Humvee mechanic. I didn't know that.
50% of people that are wanting to become
okay, so you're adjusting the sponsorship guidelines after this kind of debacle.
Absolutely.
So you're thinking about the 1 million, you know, maybe not. You said you're having some other conversations. What about an apology? I know it's usually not that you're not the type, but I think, you know, given the context, you're deep.
I love that slight. I know you're not the type of person to apologize.
Biggest name. I mean, like, I cannot overstate this guy. I talked to a lot of the victims in this case. You know, a lot of people, they come in, they see a big name like yours. It's just immediate trust, right? They say, hey, it's Patrick Bet-David. I know that guy. He wouldn't be at the Yankee Stadium with this guy if it was nothing. It wouldn't be the Vault title conference, you know, guy. So to those people, to the people who may have invested because they saw your name attached, you know, what do you have to say to them?
Yeah, and again, fair question. This is what I'll tell you. When you and I become investors, and I'll call...
You can't answer a question ever. He's infuriating. I don't know how CoffeeZilla does this. I would be losing my fucking mind. The voice is Patrick Bet-David. If you want to see him again, you've seen him before. He has this awful right-wing podcast called he runs a company called Valuetainment, and I think it's called the PBD podcast.
Call a guy that's a guy I respect a lot. He's a billionaire, and he's done a lot of deals. And he'll introduce me to a deal, and I'll get into it, and I'll put whatever, $5 million, $2 million, $500,000, $100,000.
He's talking to CoffeeZilla like CoffeeZilla invests in scams all the time. He's like, Coffee, you know how we always invest in these scams? He's like, no, I don't do that.
It doesn't go right. I'm the risk
I did look it up. But Patrick Bet-David does look like Jorgen von Strangle. I looked it up.
taker. Okay? I'm the risk taker that chose to invest into that deal. The onus is with me, the individual that chose to take the risk. So I took the risk of accepting this guy as the title sponsor.
That wasn't an investment. He gave you money. What risk is Patrick Bet-David saying he took here? This is why I say he's stupid, and he's just like a shady salesperson. That doesn't make any sense. What risk did you take? Certainly not the risk of having to pay that money back.
Time, we didn't find anything. For me to apologize, it's apologizing for a mistake he made? No. What could we have done to find something else?
You could have known that promising 60% returns is an obvious scam, and then you could give the money back. And you could apologize that you didn't know that it was a scam. If you really didn't know, you can apologize for not knowing, and then just give the money back.
There's nothing else to find what the guy was doing.
The whole pitch of Goliath was 3 to 5% a month. That's just unsustainable. You know that. I know that. Like, everybody knows 3 to 5% a month. That doesn't happen.
There are quite a few guys in the space that do that in a way that's worked for them, that are slightly more conservative.
What is he talking about? This is crazy.
But
who's giving 60% returns on Bitcoin? Nobody.
Again, for us, when we're sitting down,
Who though? Who? I don't even know who. No, I don't think that's true. I have to push back on that.
Not at a 3 to 5%, but this is not an abnormal model.
It's totally no. The pitch he was making.
The abnormal part is the 3 to 5%. It's not abnormal that people pitch a guaranteed return. Yeah, but not of 3 to 5% a month. That's the point here. Nobody's giving you 3 to 5% a month. Third rail, shut up. Dude, stay on subject. Third rail, you got to talk about what we're talking about. We're talking about Patrick Bet David taking money. We're not talking about the Democrat Party here. This isn't a Democrat live stream here. So go somewhere else if you want to do that.
Abnormal. When you actually looked at the pitch he was making, it was completely abnormal. It was not a normal hedge fund.
If you let me finish, I'll tell you my perspective.
Yeah.
This form is not abnormal. The numbers he chose was abnormal. I think the more now we think about it, what this guy...
Yeah, but then you repeated those numbers and told people to invest, and they lost their money, and you got $1 million, and you should give it back.
Was relying on is the following. This is my speculation, and you can you can take an angle with it or not. I think this guy was hoping that Bitcoin was going to go to $250,000 and he was going to get away with it, and it didn't.
Yeah, no shit. And then he just took the money anyways. It was a Ponzi scheme. Patrick Bet David has a hard time recognizing grifts and Ponzi schemes because that's how he makes his money.
And it ended up, putting him in the situation he is right now for $328 million. This guy's going to be facing, many, many years of prison time. This is not a small little crime that he committed. So for us, if I were to tell you, hey.
Oh, is that right? Deanna said, I think PBD was in financial trouble before this issue. Allegedly, there's been talk about marital issues. Florida's a 50-50 state. Maybe. I don't know anything about that.
Knew, and we investigated this, and we knew everything about him, and we did. I would apologize. We did not know.
Can somebody get rid of Puffer Ediths, please?
I don't think you're apologizing because you knew. I think you're apologizing for not doing the due diligence that someone of your stature.
I've already told you, Stephen. As a leader, the way I have gotten to where I'm at in my life right now is as a leader. I take responsibility for the decisions we've made, and we have to get better.
All right, get rid of third rail too.
To this, so we've made the adjustment ourselves as a company. And we've had many conversations with many of the people. And trust me, it's been a lot of late night calls with a lot of different people as they're going through this. This is not a pretty situation, but there is nothing we could have done on our end.
Yeah, that's for 13 minutes in. He still hasn't answered whether or not he's going to pay back the $1 million. I'm done with this. I just want you to know this goes on for 14 more minutes. And at no point does he ever admit making a mistake or agree to return the money. You can go watch this. Again, this is on Voidzilla. This is CoffeeZilla, but his other channel is Voidzilla. You can check that out, confronting Patrick Bet David. You can also see there's a video beforehand where he explains more in depth Goliath, but I just wanted you to see that. It's all grifters over there. I asked earlier, and we can ask again, but can you guys give me a single conservative content creator that isn't provably bought and paid for by some dark money group. And then if you want, like, we can play the game on the left and we can play the same game. Like, I don't know anybody. The only one I know of that's getting like outside money is the Unfuck America people. And I don't even think it's that much outside money, but like Destiny and what's his face? Brian Shapiro. But nobody else I know of is getting outside money like that. Candace is the closest. I don't know where she's getting money. I do think, I doubt she gets a lot of like dark money. I don't know who would sponsor her. Pacman was getting money from whatever that fund was. I can't remember what that fund was. He was getting, I think at the most, like he was getting like maybe like $8,000. Brian Tyler Cohen, yeah, through that one. Was it $8,000 or $800 a month? I don't remember what it was. One of those things. Chorus, yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's wildly different. And that's why you guys don't know anything. That's why everything you guys say is just like these weird platitudes that you can't back up, and you get so frustrated when you can't back them up. And I get that would be really frustrating to not be able to back up anything you say. But maybe think about that. Maybe ask yourself why so many times when you're asked questions about the things you believe, within like 2 or 3 questions, you're left with, "Come on, man. Come on, man." Well, Luke Beasley's with the Midas Touch. I don't know. Midas Touch might be getting some DNC money. I'm not sure. I don't know what their backing looks like. I wouldn't be surprised if Midas Touch is getting corporate money. They probably are. Does anybody know? Do they ever talk about that? I'm not a big Midas Touch fan. Adam Kahn says Taylor Lorenz lied about Chorus. I know he did. And you know what? I like Adam. I don't know Adam well. I met Adam shooting an episode of Jubilee. And like I haven't been in contact with him for a while. I like Adam. I know what he says about Taylor Lorenz, but the stuff I saw that seems to be confirmed. Like the stuff Taylor Lorenz said about Chorus that I saw when I saw the response from Brian Tyler Cohen, I didn't see him refute any of that. So I don't know exactly what. Maybe if somebody wants to talk to Adam, he knows how to get a hold of me. He can get a hold of me and we can talk about it. But I actually just randomly saw that he had a video that said that they lied about that. Lincoln Project, I don't know where their funding comes from either. I don't know that I would count them as like, I think they're more of like a political action group, Lincoln Project, more than like personalities. All right, let's move on here. I think this is cool. Senator Mark Warren is doing some good work here. We're going to start investigating Donald Trump and Trump Mobile.
Let me ask you about Trump Mobile. You want more answers about Donald Trump's mobile phone. It just got released to some people. This is supposed to be made in America, be this gold phone. You know, forget Samsung, forget AT&T, go for this phone. What are your questions about it?
The idea that, following in the mode of the Trump Bible and Trump shoes and Trump whatever, the idea that they branded a phone, said it was going to be made entirely in America, took, I think, deposits of $50 or $100 from close to 500,000 constituents around the country to get a pre-order. It's a scam. It's a scam. There's no phone.
You can't make a phone, tell everybody that it's going to be built in America, take deposits for those phones with the claim that it's going to be built in America, that it's going to be a unique phone, and then just repurpose a phone that was made, I think, in like 2023 that is not built in America, and then sell it like it was. That's a crime.
Made
the guy reviewing on CNN said it was the color of urine live on air.
From scratch in America like this. It's had to be put together with components from Asia. It may be put together in America, but that's not American made. The price that has been offered and the plan that's been offered, the open market offers cheaper prices with better plans. Other than getting the Trump brand on this, I think Americans have been hoodwinked. But this is an administration, whether it is the Trump Mobile, whether it is the $1 billion for the ballroom, the $1.8 billion of taxpayer money for the slush fund, I've never seen it.
You just explained the entire luxury clothing scam. I've heard about that. Yeah, that is true. One thing, though, that and the reason I cover this and not the luxury clothing scam is that it's not the president of the United States. and I cover politics. And for some reason, we have the president of the United States regularly scamming people while he's president of the United States. And MAGA's like, yeah, let him scam. I posted something the other day. This is actually crazy. I have a friend who owns business in the golf industry, and they've been absolutely decimated by tariffs. Like, tariffs really fucked them up for a while. It's killed their revenue. And I put up a video of like how much money Trump had made in this in this term, and he's like, let him cook, man. Who cares if you're making money? It's like, bro, he fucked over your business, used those tariffs to hold over the heads of other countries so that he could make billions of dollars, and you're still out here advocating for him. Like, it literally, this is one of the people who directly was impacted by Trump's stupid trade policies and still supports him. Like, I hope he makes billions. Who cares if my family can eat? Phoenix said, I know from personal experience with my job that lying about Made in America means 80% American parts and assembly. If not, it's a $500,000 fine. Wow.
Administration where both the president and his closest allies are enriching themselves as much. And yes, I have written the so-called Trump phone CEO to try to get answers.
Is your buddy a dropshipper? No, he's not a dropshipper. They make their own product. They designed a product. They have a patent on the product, but it's all manufactured in China. And it's a golf accessory. And they'll do towels, and they have like this. I don't want to give away who it is, but it's a prominent. Like, if you've been in a golf shop, you've seen their product. But it's an accessory, and everything's built in China. So and there wasn't an option here in America for them to manufacture, so they just had to eat the tariffs over and over and over again. And it's something with like a pretty specific price point. If you move that price point up too far, nobody's going to do it. There's also a lot of other companies that have like built the technology that they invented into their product to avoid the patent. And so if they raise their price, people are just going to go with these other products because it does the same thing. So it's really hurt them. And yet they're still like, I love Donald Trump. It's bizarre. I want to move on. We haven't covered this for a couple days, so let's just catch up on where we're at on the Middle East. Some of these are a couple days old. This was from the 28th. But here is Barack Ravid on with Wolf Blitzer, just talking about the Memorandum of Understanding and where we are. Now, the Memorandum of Understanding was leaked. Iran confirmed that the Memorandum of Understanding was what it was. They said they were going to take a few more days to go over it and make decisions. Trump then came out and was like, yeah, we have it. It's done. The deal's done. And now Iran is allegedly saying that there is no deal, which is pretty normal. But just to get a basic breakdown of what the Memorandum of Understanding is, here's Barack. That's how you say his name, right? Barack Ravid. I want to say David.
Also a global affairs correspondent for Axios. Barack, I understand you have some new reporting that you just received about the status of the ceasefire and the peace talks. What can you tell us?
Yes, Wolf. U.S. and Iranian negotiators have reached a deal on a memorandum of understanding that will extend the ceasefire by 60 days and launch direct negotiations on Iran's nuclear program. This I hear from two U.S. officials.
That's a good point, Neil. Iran has 50 voices. There's no point, man, to give a unified answer. Yeah, they're the IRGC and the government in Iran. It's very like I don't want to say fractured, but like it's fractured might be the right word. Convoluted might be a better word. It's really hard to make decisions. There's not just one person to make a decision.
Another regional diplomat involved in the mediation efforts. The U.S. officials told me that President Trump still hasn't gave the final sign-off on this deal. The U.S. officials told me Trump has relayed to the mediators and through the mediators to the Iranians that he wants, quote, a few days to think about it.
Mosaic, that's a better word. Well done. By necessity, yeah.
But U.S. officials are optimistic that this deal is likely to go through unless some surprising thing happens over the next 24 to 48 hours. This deal will basically include a statement by Iran that it will not pursue nuclear weapons, an affirmative statement.
I don't trust Axios. He said this at least 5 times. Said what?
It will include a commitment by Iran.
That's a good point. Namsi, Ben-Gvir, who's Israel's national security minister, has come out and it's like Israel will not allow a peace deal, which is fucking crazy. And we still there was no response from the Trump administration. Israel is saying we won't allow them. Anybody else who disagrees with Trump threatens their life. Israel is openly saying we're not going to allow the United States to accept a deal, and just no response. It's just radio silence from the Trump administration. If it's never been more clear who daddy is for Donald Trump, it's clearly Israel. They can say whatever they want, and they turn out to be right. And as soon as they did this, they bombed Gaza again, they bombed Lebanon again, we started bombing Iran again. They're going to violate the ceasefire to keep this going.
To allow commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz unrestricted, no tolls, no harassment. It will include a U.S. commitment to negotiate over the lifting of sanctions and the unfreezing of Iranian funds abroad. It will include an Iranian commitment.
Okay, so I'll stop it there. But that basically, we went over the 14 points. I don't know if I have them here. We can go back over those 14 points, but essentially, Iran, Trump thinks that Iran's going to give up their nuclear or their enriched uranium. Iran says no. Iran is basically saying you're going to give us billions of dollars. You're going to pay us reparations for all the damage you've done, which that seems like it's going to happen. They say that they will agree to no nuclear weapons, but they're not going to agree to cut down their military, their ICBMs, because they need those obviously to protect themselves from Israel, who is telling them we're going to keep attacking you. So obviously they're not going to get rid of their weapons program, and all to get the Strait of Hormuz open. So we're going to get a watered down version of the JCPOA, and we're going to get the Strait of Hormuz open, which was already open. We're going to have supply chain issues, and we're going to see bleed through into our cost of goods for a pointless war. This is probably since Vietnam, our most catastrophic mistake in going into a war. It was pointless. It was unwinnable. Anybody telling you that the United States is winning is out of their fucking mind. The only way you say the United States was winning is who blew up more shit? We do. But this deal we're getting out of this is going to be a watered down version of what Barack Obama did. There's a reason Barack Obama's deal with Iran was praised worldwide. It was the first time ever that diplomatically we were able to get somewhere with Iran and we didn't have bloodshed. Those are the kind of deals that we need. And Trump has no idea how to do that because it's he's not a good deal maker. He didn't write Art of the Deal, and Art of the Deal is fucking stupid. Very, very fucking stupid. What'd you say there? Yeah. Look, I'm not saying Axios gets it right all the time, but Axios a lot of times too is just reporting stuff that's been leaked to them. Just because, and we have to remember that, if something's leaked to Axios, Axios reports it. What they're reporting is that was leaked to them. They don't necessarily report on the validity of that claim. But yeah, Axios fucks up. This administration leaks to Axios all the time. They've got somebody in the administration who leaks to them, and the administration doesn't seem to have a problem with that. They never try and figure out who's leaking to Axios. So it's somebody probably like a Stephen Miller, and they're aware that they're leaking to Axios. This guy supports Iran. What supports Iran? What? How do I support Iran? If I don't think Iran should be bombed into oblivion, if I don't think we should nuke Iran, I support Iran. Yes, I support Iran existing and not being nuked. And but most importantly, I just support us not blowing up people every time Donald Trump has big feelings, or every time Israel pops into his office, is hey, can you bomb a country for us? He's sure. And I'm not a big fan of genocide. Not a big fan of Israel. Not a big fan of Iran either. But that doesn't mean we should bomb them. Trump says that he's announcing the terms of the deal on Truth Social. He said, Iran must agree that they will never have a nuclear weapon or bomb. Great. Exactly like they had agreed to when you pulled out of the Iranian nuclear agreement. The Hormuz Strait must be immediately open. No tolls for unrestricted shipping traffic in both directions. Okay, so exactly what we had before the war started. All water mines, if any, will be terminated. Okay, cool. So exactly what we had before. Iran will complete the immediate removal and or detonation of any mines that are left. Again, we didn't have any. Ships caught in the strait due to our amazing and unprecedented naval blockade will now be lifted. Cool. So back to normal. May start the process of heading home. Say hello to your wives, husbands, parents, and families from me, your favorite president, who stranded them there, by the way. They were all stranded there because you put them there. The enriched material, sometimes referred to as nuclear dust, which is buried deep underground with virtually collapsed mountains caused by our powerful B-2 bomber attack 11 months ago. Sitting on top of it will be unearthed by the United States, which it is agreed is the only country, along with China, with the mechanical capability of doing so. Iran is saying no to that. In close coordination and conjunction with the Islamic Republic of Iran, plus the International Atomic Energy Agency, and destroyed. No money will be exchanged. Iran says bullshit until further notice. Oh, I guess we are going to give them money. Other items of far less importance have been agreed to. I'll be meeting in the Situation Room to make a final determination. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Obviously, Israel is like, we can't have this. We can't have this. So Lindsey Graham goes out there after complaining about the ceasefire negotiations and how we should never give anything to Iran. Now they're advocating for this.
I know you're in contact with all of the countries in the Middle East. Are you getting any indication?
My phone's been ringing off the hook.
Sir?
My phone is ringing off the hook.
Why? Why would Lindsey Graham's phone be ringing off the hook? He's not involved in the negotiations. He's a senator. Who do you think's calling him? Yeah, there you go, Brian. Yeah, Israel's calling him non-fucking stop. Hey, dude, you better get this shit done or we're going to release our information on you. Why the fuck is his phone ringing off the hook? Why? Doesn't he have a job to do for Americans here? He seems to only care about Israel.
My phone is ringing off the hook because he said I should link the two. He's saying to the Arabs, look what I've done for you. He saved MBS. He's the best friend Israel's ever had. Everybody in the region should rally around the idea of adding Saudi Arabia and other countries.
You also neglect to mention the biggest thing. Iran is giving up the nuclear dust they have. No, they're not. They said they're not. Trump says they are. They say they're not. Again, like you guys just believe everything he says. And we did mention it, by the way. I read it directly. I read the words nuclear dust. But they say they're not giving it up.
To the Abraham Accords, it would change.
Or at least not to the United States. Their client, what they want is they say they're willing to give up the enriched uranium to Russia.
Change the makeup of the Mideast in a way that nobody could envision just a year ago. It would change the Mideast for the better.
They don't have a choice. Well, it turns out they do have a choice. I believe Iran when Iran says they're not going to give it up. Yeah. I believe Iran over the United States, which sucks because they lie all the time. But Donald Trump has lied like 50 times already. He lies always. He's like, oh, there's a ceasefire agreement, and then there never is. Iran agreed to a deal, and then they're like, no, we didn't. And then they don't. Donald Trump has lied far more than Iran in this conflict. And again, this just goes to show like your mindset. You're choosing to believe one side or the other, and you don't really have an argument. You're just like, I believe Trump, and your only argument is, oh, you believe Iran? No, but everything Iran has said about these agreements that Trump keeps saying are in effect, Iran keeps being right, and Trump keeps being wrong. So it's not about who I believe. It's that I don't, like, if Trump says something, I obviously don't believe it until it comes to fruition. So if Iran gives up their nuclear waste or their enriched uranium, great, Trump's right, but they're saying they're not going to. So how's Trump going to get that? What are we going to do, invade Iran?
It's changed in thousands of years. To our Arab allies, you need to help President Trump. You need to embrace the fact that it's now time to end the Arab-Israeli conflict, make peace with Israel, build on the Abraham Accords, and if you say no to him, you say no at your own peril. Look what he's done for the Arab world. Look what he's done to your biggest enemy, Iran. Look how—
What has he done for the Arab world? They're all pissed off at him. They're all mad about him allowing the genocide in Gaza. All of their countries are being bombed. They didn't want to be. They're not part of this war. They're all getting bombed. What has he done for the Arab world? Somebody, where's our MAGA people? Can you explain to me? What he's done for the Arab world? While we're waiting for answers from MAGA here, just a reminder, we got about 40 minutes left. We're way off on the gift goal, like way, way off. So I'd appreciate if you guys would help us knock that out today. I know I haven't been harping on it. Lee says, thanks for your hard work. I appreciate that, Lee. We did the dollar trend. We knocked that out by the end of the live. No problem. PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo are the way to go, or Super Chats.
he stood by you when other people were going to abandon you. As to our friends in Israel, you have no better friend than Donald Trump. Quite frankly,
That's true. That's one of the truest things he said. Donald Trump is Israel's best friend. Donald Trump chooses Israel over his own country consistently.
Donald Trump, you owe it to him. You owe it to your people. You owe it to the world to do what he's asking you to do. Build on the Abraham Accords. I've never been more optimistic than I am.
Why would we care about the Arab world? We don't. Well, that's what the Abraham. I don't know. It's Lindsey Graham and Donald Trump saying that they care about that. They're trying to get him to sign the Abraham Accords, which are not one. They're nonsense. There's nothing in the Abraham Accords. It's just business agreements. It's so generic. It's like you need to normalize relations between Israel and Muslim countries. It's just Israel trying to bribe other countries by using the access to the United States to get them to side with Israel instead of Iran. And they would rather side with Iran, honestly. And again, they also recognize what we all recognize. Iran is a bad actor, but not as bad as Israel. If you trust Iran more than Israel, that's a problem for Israel. That is not an endorsement of Iran. It's a reality that nobody trusts Israel except for some reason MAGA. I don't know why you guys trust Israel so much. They just lead us into senseless wars all the time. This guy thinks the Saudis want to side with Iran. What do you mean side with Iran? They don't want to side with Israel. Did the Saudis want? I mean, by the way, fuck the Saudis. The Saudis have funded far more terrorism on the U.S. U.S. homeland than Iran. Saudis have funded all sorts of terrorism against us here in the United States. Can you guys name one attack that Iran funded that happened here in the United States? Can you name one? Can you name one thing Iran has ever done to us that didn't happen in a place that we invaded? But the Saudis did. How about you, Jarrett? Can you give me one? The movie Giggly. Why am I supposed to be afraid of Iran? Trump might be the goat. Trump might fuck goats. Who knows? Donald Trump's a dipshit, though. There's no scenario where Donald Trump is remembered fondly. You realize that, right? Like, he's going to be remembered as a split-term president, and under both of his presidencies, he destroyed our economy. Both. He's gonna end up being a president that served 2 terms, and both times he took an economy that was in a pretty good place and fucked it up. And then he went to a pointless war, one of the dumbest wars we've ever entered. He's going to be remembered for his corruption, for his corruption in making we're at $6 billion now. By the time he's on his way out, it's going to be like $10 billion. He's going to be remembered for fucking up the currency, devaluing our currency, and making massive $1 trillion investments into cryptocurrency, which is a Ponzi scheme. He will be remembered as one of the worst presidents of all time. There's nothing on his resume that will hold up over time. Nothing. Other than, like, he had a bunch of grown men openly blowing him all the time, just like, please come on my face, wearing his merch and just being like openly sycophantic and stupid. That's the only thing that we'll really remember, is how many of you dipshits loved him and didn't realize that you were being lied to. But again, can you any of you want to give me an example of Iran being a problem to us on the homeland? Probably not, right? Then there was this. This is fucking crazy. This is crazy talk from Donald Trump. Again, in the Oval Office, while all of these grown men and women are glazing him, he gives them all a signed hat. It's like the dumbest signed hats ever. There's merch every single time. And he just thinks that everybody owes him, that he's done something for anybody. What has he done for anybody in the Middle East?
An agreement
besides Israel
with Iran that just calls for further talks on uranium, or is the only option?
Dan, you said the Iron Sheik. Oh, the Iron Sheik reigned terror all around the U.S. in the 80s. I thought it said Iran. Yeah, you're right. Good point. I forgot about the Iron Sheik. You're right. The Iron Sheik was attacking Americans, but we took care of him Hulk Hogan took care of that on his own. Tanya said, have a great weekend. Sandy said, thanks for joining the Dollar Train. Christy as well. Nighthawk, Nighthawk in the chat for the $50 over on Venmo said, thank you. Tell them to go to therapy. Oh, those poor therapists. Can you imagine being a therapist trying to sort through a MAGA person? Every time they give them advice, they're like, you sound vaccinated. Malcolm said, I need this show to keep going. Thank you. Bridget said, I don't trust stairs. Always up to something. Denise said, Antifa dues. Tony, thanks for joining the $2 train. And W Nomad Gal in the chat, $125 over on Cash App. Thank you so much. It was very generous. You guys have been real sweet lately. But here's Trump now saying, everybody has to join us. They owe us.
No, I would for some of it, because it's a memorandum of understanding for speed. And one of the things that will happen is the strait will open immediately, but it's got to be perfect. I'm not going to do this. I didn't do this to get a crummy agreement. The worst agreement ever signed was by Barack Hussein Obama. What a horrible agreement that was.
How can it be the worst agreement and then Trump is trying to replicate it? How? How is it a terrible agreement and he's doing the exact same thing? Only it's cost him billions of dollars to do that.
It was a setback for this country, for the whole world. The Middle East would have blown itself up. No, I would like to have the countries we were talking about, with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and the others, we'd like to have them immediately join and Steve Witkoff is working on that with Jared and some others, but would like to have them join the Abraham Accords. It'll be historic if they do it. And I think they owe that to us, to be honest. I think, because that really would be a tremendous sign.
What did we do for them? We destabilized their entire region for decades. We fought on both sides. We'll side with one group and then we'll turn against them. We side with Iran so that they have a democratically elected leader. Then we don't like their democratically elected leader. So then we side with the Ayatollah and we help them get a coup. And then Iran's like under a dictatorship. And then we're like, oh, we don't like that dictatorship. So then we kill the dictator and then we replace it with another dictator who is worse. It's us. We've done nothing but decimate the Middle East for decades. If we left the Middle East, it would be far more peaceful. We have done nothing to bring peace to the Middle East.
And I think those countries owe it to us. Steve, are you going to get them to sign?
We're definitely pushing it, Mr. President.
I'm not sure we should make the deal if they don't sign. You want to know the truth? If they don't sign to join the Abraham Accords, I don't know that we have countries in there already. UAE, great.
I dare one of you Republicans to tell me what signing the Abraham Accords does. I've read it. Do you want to, if we read the Abraham Accords, let's see if I can find it here. I don't know what it does. Here it is. We, the undersigned, recognize the importance of maintaining and strengthening peace in the Middle East and around the world based on mutual understanding and coexistence, as well as respect for human dignity and freedom, including religious freedom. We encourage efforts to promote interfaith, intercultural dialogue to advance the culture of peace among the three Abrahamic religions and all humanity. We believe that the best way to address challenges is through cooperation and dialogue. Developing friendly relations among states advances the interests of lasting peace in the Middle East and around the world. We seek tolerance and respect for every person in order to make this world a place where... Sorry, I'm laughing because they all signed this and then did a genocide. Right? They're like, we need to respect all religions. And then they did a genocide. And then we elected Donald Trump and he chose a Secretary of Defense who's like, kill all Muslims. We support science, art, medicine, and commerce to inspire humankind, maximize human potential, and bring nations close together. We seek to end radicalization and conflict to provide all children a better future. And then we're just like, well, Zionism is not radicalization. Only Islam is radicalization, not Zionism. We pursue a vision of peace, security, and prosperity in the Middle East and around the world. And then again, immediately, you just did a genocide. They signed this and they're like, let's do a genocide. Let's bomb Iran. The Abraham Accords are literally nothing. There's a reason that people always say that Trump should get the Nobel Prize for the Abraham Accords. There's a reason that nobody outside of the United States has ever suggested that. It's because it's literally nothing. It's kind of sounding woke. It does sound a little woke, doesn't it? It's just nothing. It's just them all saying, like, we agree on these things. We all have these thoughts. It's non-binding. It doesn't force them to do anything. When Donald Trump says, I want them to sign the Abraham Accords, it's Donald Trump's saving face. He knows that none of that matters. He just wants them to sign it so that he can go, look what I did, guys. I got all of these people to agree to peace. Obviously, it's non-binding. Obviously, it doesn't lead to peace because it didn't lead to fucking peace. If it led to peace, it would lead to peace, but it led to war. It did the exact fucking opposite. It's just Donald Trump so that he can get out of this war. We're going to send billions of dollars, and he wants all you dipshits to then be able to be like, I can't believe you guys are criticizing him. They all signed the Abraham Accords. That's a peace deal. He brought peace to the Middle East. He just needs you to be able to repeat dumb shit, and you'll do it. You'll fucking do it. And they might sign because they don't give a fuck. They might sign, and that, like 3 months from now, when we're talking about the cost of food and inflation from this war and the residual effects of the oil pricing as people restock their depleted oil reserves, you'll be like, it was worth it because we have peace. He got them to sign the Abraham Accords. You just hate Donald Trump, even when he creates world peace. And you'll just pretend that, like, Israel and the United States didn't start this war. Like, we didn't just start bombing the fuck out of them for no reason. This is just his way to deflect because he's a fucking idiot. He's a terrible deal maker, and he's bailing out of this war right now. He's just backpedaling, and he's like, I got to be able to spin this in a way that looks like I won. And lucky for me, everybody who voted for me is a fucking psychopath who doesn't believe in reality anymore. They will just defend every fucking thing I say. That's you. I'm speaking to you guys. And I promise you'll do this. Somebody clip this for 3 months from now when they're in here being like, the Abraham Accords were signed by these countries. This is an easy one for them. If all they have to do is sign so that their country will stop being bombed, they'll sign it because they don't give a fuck that he's getting a moral victory. But you dumb motherfuckers will be here being like, they signed the Abraham Accords, we have peace. You still talk about the Abraham Accords and peace in the Middle East as if war didn't kick off in the Middle East. As if like Israel didn't do a genocide and then attack Lebanon and then attack Syria and attack Iran. None of this works. None of it is what you think it is. And all you have to do, honestly, to figure it out is open your eyes and stop listening to this lunatic. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have to look him in the eyes with his dick in my mouth. I'm obligated to do so. This is not a cult. I do this by choice.
Great countries, bold countries. And it's turned out to be so good, so effective. And so we're, requesting strongly.
So effective, the Abraham Accords.
It'll be great. It'll be great for Saudi Arabia.
See? Ranking King Rabbit. What genocide? See how easy it is? They just do a genocide and they're like, it's not a genocide. And MAGA's like, what? I didn't see no genocides. Stacey said so Jen can keep her Tinder active. Amy said Chevron and Exxon Mobil came out and said expect gas prices to spike a lot coming in June and July. Great. No, they're probably just lying because they hate Trump.
It'd be great for Qatar and Kuwait, the whole group.
So the Iran deal might be contingent on more countries joining the Accords.
I don't want to say that. I'm not going to give you, what's contingent, what's not. I can say that we can make a good deal right now, but maybe not a great deal. And if it's not a great deal, we're not making it.
Jesse said, thank you for a great show as always. But we know what the deal is. Is it not a great deal? We saw it. Why did they do this? We know what the details are. Is it a good deal or is it not? The reason that Trump is not saying that the deal is done is because he knows that Iran actually is the one with the leverage here holding the cards. And so he can't say the deal is done in front of all these people because they'll question him. So he waits till they're out of the room and he's like, oh, it's done. It's done. Here's Stephen Miller trying to spin this. And if you believe this, whatever, like we're used to it. Here's ugly fuck Stephen Miller to tell you why we're doing so great in Iran.
Homeland Security Advisor. All right, Miller, deal or no deal?
Well, as you said, President Trump is the one who's going to make that decision, and President Trump alone. He's directly, personally involved in the negotiations, making sure that the results...
That is a lie. I don't know why they lie like that. He is not directly and personally involved in the negotiations. He just said Witkoff and Jared are doing it. He consistently says, I don't know the details of it. Steve Witkoff and Jared will get back to me. Directly means he's negotiating. He's not negotiating. Why does Stephen Miller lie so easily?
Miller, deal or no deal?
Well, as you said, President Trump is the one who's going to make that decision, and President Trump alone. He's directly, personally involved in the negotiations, making sure that the results are up to his standards. As you've outlined, Iran has made significant material and dramatic concessions to the United States that would have been impossible only a short time ago because of the military battlefield defeat that they have suffered and the embargo continuing to choke the life out of their economy.
But what concessions did they give? Anybody? There's not even a deal. What concessions is he talking about? That they're going to open the Strait of Hormuz? It was already open. These concessions would not have been possible 3 months ago. Yeah, well, it's because the Strait of Hormuz was open. We weren't in war. I guess this is like you just go in and you break somebody's window and then you replace it and you're like, I fixed your problem. It's like, yeah, you did, but you broke it. So you replacing the window was like you fucked something up and then you fixed it. You don't get any credit for that.
But let's understand something else. It's very important.
Very important.
To baseline this all on where we are today versus where we started. When Obama signed the Iran nuclear deal, the so-called JCPOA, Iran
That's not so-called. That's what it was called.
was on a guaranteed path to a nuclear weapon, to being the dominant power in the region, to being the richest and most militarily threatening nation in the entire Middle East, with the ability to launch ballistic and ultimately nuclear weapons to Europe and eventually the United States.
This is crazy. So during the time that the Iranian nuclear agreement was in place, and there's some discussion here, like Iran wasn't totally good actors, but the available evidence we have says Iran might have enriched uranium past the 3.6% rate, but under 10%. And again, there's conflicting reports there. If you want enriched uranium to be used for a nuclear weapon, would you want enriched uranium at 6% or 60%? Which one would put you closer? 60%, right? Once Trump pulled out of the Iranian nuclear agreement, they got it up to 60%. That is far closer to a nuclear weapon than they had ever been. They were further away during when they were keeping the agreement. It is wild how they can just lie to you. It is fucking wild. How do you let them lie like this?
States. Now, because of President Trump, their economy has been dismantled. Their nuclear program under Operation Midnight Hammer has been obliterated. Their entire defense industrial base has been eradicated. Their navy's at the bottom of the sea. Their air force at the bottom of the sea. Their entire leadership class has been decapitated.
And then why can't you get any concessions out of them then? They weren't keeping the agreement, you idiot. Remember, I actually just said that, Richard. I said, well, they were under the agreement. They were breaking some of the rules. But again, what he said is they were closer then to getting a nuclear weapon but they weren't. They got closer to getting a nuclear weapon after we withdrew from it.
It's the most complete, thorough, total military thrashing in the...
How would you know if I'm lying or not without providing any type of source? You could look it up. Just go look it up. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not doing your homework for you. And none of you're not providing sources. Is Stephen Miller providing a source here? Isn't that weird? I'm just playing his words. Is he providing a source? Did Trump provide a source for any of his claims? No. But only I have to provide a source because you want to believe Trump. Go look it up. You could listen to Trump. They're the ones that said Iran got to 60% enriched uranium. That's Trump's intelligence. I'm actually citing Donald Trump and this administration saying they got to 60%. I'm citing our government. You can look that up.
History of armed conflict. 4 weeks and a country decimated to that degree, to that extent.
Roland, you said I'm a looser. I think you meant loser. It's just got one O in it. Looser is your dad's rectum after I have been pummeling it every weekend, and it has gotten substantially looser. But I think you meant to call me a loser.
And now here we are at the end of that with Iran putting on the table a complete reopening of the strait, as has been discussed, and many other concessions that are going to be.
And by the way, tell your dad I said, what's up? He'll know. He'll know. Just do this. He'll know. He'll know who you're talking about.
Veiled in the time to come. But again, there's no deal until there's a deal. Nothing's final till it's final. And President Trump's been clear that he reserves the option now or at any time in the future to do whatever is necessary to defend and protect America's national security.
All right, we're done with him. All right, so that's where we're at on the Iran war. They're still lying. We're running out of time, but I'm going to play this. We might go over a little bit today. This is wild. This is More Perfect Union put this out 2 days ago. This is the best explanation I've ever seen of how and why Trump is so close with people like Elon Musk and why these billionaires are so willing to continue to support Donald Trump and this administration, because he is rigging the economy for them. And we are now rigging the stock market. Like Congress is legitimately changing the rules in the stock market to rig the economy for the billionaires. And this is the best explanation I've ever seen. Again, More Perfect Union, incredible stuff. Please go subscribe to them if you're not already. They're 3.46 million. It should be 100 million. They do some of the best journalism on the internet.
I'm a guy that's into space. I hope we go to Mars and all that stuff. To see that get turned into a way to transfer wealth from ordinary people who are just trying to save for retirement to people like Elon Musk is just depressing.
SpaceX is going public this month. It could be the biggest IPO in history.
It could also make Elon Musk the
Rain, except for that amazing watermelon video. Thank you. Jesse said, thank you for a great show. Oh, I got that one. Sorry. Double credit there for Jesse. I want to make sure I got these before I let this play. Marlene said, I can barely stand listening to Trump for 15 seconds. This is for you for listening to his whole idiotic speeches for me. Thank you. I needed that. That'll go to the Tylenol fund.
world's first trillionaire.
Millions of Americans like you and me are about to become SpaceX shareholders. We won't buy a single share.
The reason why I described it as a bag holder situation is because it feels like it's getting engineered to be one.
Bag holders, IPO, valuations. Sounds complicated. It's supposed to. But you don't need a finance degree to understand it. You need 10 minutes. The whole scheme hinges on something you've probably heard of. Index funds. A good chunk of American retirement savings are tied to them. You pick a fund, it picks an index, which picks the stocks. You don't think about it. That's the point. Index funds are supposed to be safe. Passive. The rules are the rules. Except, if you look closely, the rules seem like they're being rewritten to make people like Elon Musk.
Oh my, you're better than this. Stop doing the ignore, like you're trying to ignore corruption right now by saying it's been rigged since 2008. No, this is new. There's no such thing as like rigging the, like you can't just like, oh, I'm going to turn on the rig switch. The reason the stock market gets rigged is because rich people lobby Congress and they change rules, and they're consistently changing rules. So care about it in the moment. Don't dismiss this because it's Trump. Don't do that. You're here every day. We do this every day. You know better than that.
Fabulously wealthy at everyone else's expense.
Every piece of evidence we have is that the IPO is being engineered to rise very rapidly after it prices and then fall very dramatically after that. That is a recipe for retail investors especially to take large losses.
Okay, just some terms here to be aware of while we're going. You have institutional investors and retail investors. Retail investors are you and I. It's oftentimes people who are investing in an index fund or just investing in stocks. Institutional investors are the venture capitalists or the seed money or just big high value investors. Their money usually gets in early and they usually get in at lower valuations. Retail investors like us, we wind up buying in at higher prices and hoping that price continues to go up. And just for a basic understanding of how you could rig something like this, you could say, like, we're going to take our investors, the people with all the money, they're going to get in at a low valuation. Then we're going to have an IPO, which is an initial public offering. It's the first time the public, you and I, have an opportunity to buy into this stock. And they set the initial public offering. You buy, usually something like with SpaceX, there's going to be this big push. A bunch of people are going to invest right away. Those investors that are in earlier at a lower share price, they're going to see that value go up, and then they can sell their shares. And so who's going to be left paying for that? That's how they rig this shit. It's retail investors. Retail investors will take the hit, and it'll go up, and then it'll drop, and then hopefully it goes up again, and retail investors will be like, I got my money back. Meanwhile, on the back end, early investors just stole all this money. Now they're flush with cash. They may even sell it, and then the price dips, and then they'll buy it back, because then retail investors, panic sell because they're like, oh no, I'm going to lose all my money. And those same investors buy it back and then make the stock go up again. That's how you rig something like this. And it should be something that the government stands in the way of. This government is investing with them. This government is using taxpayer money to help them accomplish this goal.
Here's how the scheme works and what you can do about it.
So are there really 3 hours of questions? Or has it? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah. I have to be careful about saying things about companies that might go public. You know,
that's never been a problem for you, Elon.
you can't hype companies that might go public.
$1.75 trillion.
Thank you,
That's
Colin.
the value Elon Musk has floated for SpaceX when it goes public this month. More than Walmart. Is it worth that?
SpaceX is a real company. It shoots satellites up in the sky. It provides things like Starlink. It's a very impressive engineering company.
That's Robin Wigglesworth, editor at the Financial Times.
There is definitely real business to be done.
No, see, this is you, Bob. You're the same way. Nobody has said rigging the stock market has never existed before Trump. It has. We're telling you that they're doing something corrupt, and you can be one of two things. You can be a fucking Trump dick-riding bitch and be like, it's never happened before. Or you can just call out corruption in the moment, which we do, which we always do. You don't, because you're partisan. This is a big problem.
And there and real asset value there. The question is whether it is as large as Musk claims it is.
George Perkins advises investors where to put their money.
Last year, SpaceX made about $19 billion, most of it from Starlink and government contracts.
But a company's market value is partially a bet on what that company will earn in the future. That bet is called a revenue multiple.
Facebook went public at roughly 10 times its projected revenue. SpaceX is asking for over 50 times.
How? How is SpaceX going to be 50 times? Like, how are they going to 50x their revenue?
The combination of sheer size and this extreme multiple is completely unprecedented.
Based on the numbers that we know, that is absolutely batshit.
This valuation seems too...
Tried and true. We're talking about SpaceX right now. You're talking about Ukraine. Shut the fuck up and stay on topic or we'll mute you. Dude, stop. You're spamming the chat for facts. We're talking about SpaceX. You're talking about Ukraine, which we've let go for a while, but you got to be on topic or else we'll just mute it. You can't spam the chat and try and change the subject.
Good to be true. Some investors may need it to be. In 2022, Elon Musk raised $44 billion and bought Twitter. His backers, Andreessen Horowitz, a Saudi prince, the co-founder of Palantir, and Jack Dorsey, the guy who founded Twitter in the first place. Musk renamed it X, and within a year, it's worth less than half he paid. That's a problem. There was also a solution. AI was hot. Musk owned an AI company, so he merged X into XAI. No cash changed hands. X investors received XAI stock. But that solution raised another problem.
XAI.
It's called growth at SpaceX. No, it's called projecting a 54x multiplier on your revenue without any data to back it up. Again, like, this is just why MAGA gets scammed. This is why they scam you so easily. This is why Trump runs all these scams with you guys, because you're all fucking stupid. It's called capitalism. It's called growth. No, it's called a scam. That's what it's called. And the government's job is to get in the way of scams. They're supposed to protect the American people from this. And you're like, no, just let us get scammed. It's what we do.
Is essentially a money furnace.
The solution? Musk has a rocket ship company. He uses it to buy XAI. Again, no cash exchanged. 3 companies, 2 mergers, $0 actually paid. Everyone who helped take Twitter private now holds SpaceX shares. Now, SpaceX isn't just a rocket.
How's that work? Elon fucked him. We've said this before, but Elon Musk massively overpaid for Twitter. He made a legally binding offer thinking Twitter would reject it because he was trying to flex, and Twitter called his bluff, and they forced him to buy Twitter. And then it lost all its value, and his investors were pissed. So somehow our government allowed Twitter, a social media company, and SpaceX, which is just NASA that for some reason we gave to Elon. We're like, hey, we spent all these billions of dollars and it's all these scientists at NASA. What if you just had it? We'll just give it to you. And he just took NASA over, and then he rolled Twitter into that. And now the way that he thinks these investors are going to get their money back is with a big IPO. That's why the 54x multiple, because it's all a fucking Ponzi scheme. It all is. These guys have been investing in each other's companies, and their companies are valueless. Like Tesla forever was not turning a profit. They only started turning a profit when the government stepped in and was giving rebates, and then they started turning a profit. And then he took that Tesla stock and he bought Twitter, and the Twitter stock was basically worthless. And all these people were coming to him like, hey, we've lost billions of dollars investing in you. And he's like, don't worry about it. I paid Donald Trump a bunch of money, and he's going to allow us to do this scam. So now we're going to roll Twitter into SpaceX, and then we're going to take that public with this high IPO, and you guys are going to get this stock. And when we go public, sell your stock, and you'll get all your money back. And don't worry, it's just going to be the American people who get fucked on this. This is the most transparent fucking rigged IPO I've ever seen in my life. I can't think of one that is more transparently fraudulent than this. And they're doing it with the blessing of the Trump administration.
A company that's
Tried and True, shut the fuck up, man. Are you trying to fight people? Get rid of Tried and True. That's now you're trying to fight people. Grow the fuck up, man. Mods, can we get rid of Tried and True?
Internet. According to Musk, it's the future. Data centers in space.
If some of my predictions come true, SpaceX will launch more AI than the cumulative amount on Earth combined.
This is from More Perfect Union up here in the corner. It's a YouTube channel, More Perfect Union.
Everything else combined.
I see no evidence that it's a viable business opportunity. There are far too many physical challenges with doing this.
But the value has to hold, because so far, no one has been paid. Investor shares are only worth something on paper. To turn paper
Noster said it's called looser
into cash, SpaceX has to go public. When a company goes public, it opens its doors. Early investors cash out, get paid for the risk they took. Everyone else gets a chance to own a piece of something that used to be off limits. It's called an initial public offering, or IPO for short.
It is a very normal part of a company's evolution and life cycle.
There isn't just Twitter investors here. SpaceX's original investors took a big risk. Peter Thiel, Palantir's other co-founder, Google, and Andreessen Horowitz. But SpaceX's IPO is anything but normal. In a typical IPO, 90% of shares go to institutional investors, pension funds, banks, insurance companies. Regular people, you get 10%. SpaceX says they're changing that. 30% to ordinary people. Main Street, not Wall Street.
When you see an IPO give a far larger allocation to ordinary investors, it's usually a sign that they can't get professional investors to buy it at that price. The price is nuts. And if you can't sell it to professional investors, well, you sell it to unprofessional investors who don't know any better.
That's you. All these billionaires that voted for Trump. You ask yourself why Elon gave him all this money? Only for Elon to just like lose his EV credits? It was for this. We're bailing out Elon Musk. And it's going to be you. It's going to be the people that invest. Now, I hope people are wise to this, because this could actually destroy a lot of these billionaires. Don't invest. If we can convince people not to invest in that IPO, watch that IPO open and then just plummet, all of these billionaires will lose and Elon Musk will go bankrupt. We could actually undo Elon Musk, Andreessen Horowitz, to some extent Peter Thiel. This is like their exit strategy. This has to work for them, or they are fucked. We just need MAGA to wake the fuck up for a second. Get in on this with us. You want to bring down the system? You want to have a more fair and equitable system? Look at all these people who are invested with Elon and don't invest. Nobody should invest in SpaceX.
If people want to invest in SpaceX's IPO, that's their right. The problem is Musk found a way to make people invest in SpaceX whether they want to or not. How? Index funds.
Nationalized SpaceX. Yeah, we had it before. It's called NASA. By the way, I believe it. I know Biden gave a bunch of contracts. I don't remember if Obama did too. But this isn't like a partisan thing. Democrats have been giving Elon Musk these handouts forever. I cannot figure out for the life of me why we privatized NASA. Why did we do that? Why did we give this to Elon Musk? What was the point? If you guys live in Florida, go to NASA. Go on a tour of NASA. You know what you'll see? A bunch of relics from NASA, and on the same lot, everything that's happening is SpaceX. They literally are on the same property. They took all the NASA scientists. They took all the years of research. This is the same as AI. Like, all these AI companies are just harvesting all of our data and all of our knowledge. And for some reason, they're going to be the ones that are allowed to capitalize on that. Why do we keep giving away everything to a handful of billionaires? I mean, like, we've been around. It's the 250th anniversary of the United States. And for the 250th anniversary, we're going to have a UFC fight on the White House lawn while we celebrate 250 years of learning, education, innovation, all being handed to people like Elon Musk and David Sachs and OpenAI. We're just giving them 250 years worth of valuable education and data. And they're going to profit off of it, and we're not. This is the most transparent gift to a handful of billionaires I could ever imagine. Everything we've worked for as a country, everything your grandparents worked for, your parents worked for, everything you've worked for, it's all being handed over to these people. And saying, like, go ahead and tokenize everything. We played Sam Altman from OpenAI be like, the future is tokenization. If you want to use the internet, you need a token. You want electricity, you need a token. You want water, you need a token. It's about to be a fucking nickelcade. Our country is just going to be everything. Is just going to be put in a token, put in a token, put in a token. And obviously it'll be like a digital token. But what are we doing? All because you love Donald Trump? You're so blinded by Donald Trump that you're willing to just sell everything?
The index fund is one of the rare examples of the finance industry coming up with something that lines the pockets of ordinary people and not Wall Street itself.
An index is a list. Someone decides which companies go on it. A fund is a basket. Someone builds it to mirror the list. When a company gets added to the index, every fund mirroring it has to buy shares. Not because they think it's a good investment.
Mars says fucking eat the rich. Yes.
But because the rules require it.
Index funds have both outperformed the vast majority of active managers in every market, in every country over any time frame in the long run.
Thousands of indexes exist. Nearly a third of American stock is tied to one of them. One of the most popular tracks the NASDAQ 100, the 100 biggest non-financial stocks on the NASDAQ exchange.
I love that, Grandwig. Yeah, but who am I? That's your problem. You're asking who am I instead of is my information correct? That's like you're like conditioned to rely on somebody that you view as powerful for your information. It's not that hard.
Under NASDAQ's index rules, SpaceX isn't eligible to be included in the NASDAQ 100. New companies have to wait up to a year. It's called seasoning.
Seasoning a stock is just the process of having it trade publicly for a while. Public markets tend to be unsure of how to handle certain kinds of investments, novel sorts of companies really quickly.
Like a rocket company that makes most of its money providing satellite internet and wants to build AI infrastructure in space. If Musk could change that rule, he could trigger mandatory buying of SpaceX stock by every fund that tracks the index. This spring, NASDAQ changed their rules. This document outlines the proposed changes to the NASDAQ 100 index. The most important, a fast entry rule.
This is where the corruption takes place, right? By Elon Musk forcing his way, and by getting this legislation here, let's pause it on this.
This document outlines the proposed changes to the NASDAQ 100 index. The most important.
Okay. It's this. I think the rule was that it needed to be 90 days from the time the IPO is, and they're changing it to 5. See, he needs this to happen very quickly because people are going to, like, he needs his investors to be able to capitalize on this. And so because of this, he needs 5 days after the IPO for it to be listed and then automatically included in all of these index funds, which means those of you that have an index fund, like I invest in an index fund, my index fund will automatically invest in SpaceX. They're just that it's going to be included in every index fund. And so even those of you who are like I'm not going to go out and invest in SpaceX, your index fund will within 5 days. So there's going to be this huge surge of money within 5 days of the IPO, which will skyrocket the price, which is when they all sell. And he bought this. And Mark Andreessen bought this. And Peter Thiel bought this. This is why J.D. Vance is your vice president. They bought all of this because they're running a Ponzi scheme. They've been running a Ponzi scheme since the PayPal days. And they're running out of ways to keep this Ponzi scheme afloat. And they've run out of investors. Institutional investors can't invest anymore. It's too expensive for them. So they have to rely on you. So they have to force Americans to invest so that they can get the return for their friends. And it will be American retirement accounts, investment accounts that are going to take the hit on all of this. This is one of those places you could do like a general strike. Imagine if millions of Americans withdrew from their index funds a day before, one day before, and watched this entire thing collapse. This is like one of those moments that they like GameStop moments. There's leverage here, and we need to be aware of the leverage that we have. If you have an index fund, tell everybody. When SpaceX IPO goes live, pull your money out of your index fund. Make sure. Don't give them an ounce of your money. Even if you want to just take it out for 10 days, make sure you're out when this happens.
A fast entry rule. If a huge company goes public, it gets into the index in 15 trading days. No seasoning. There was a public comment period. Wall Street was for it. They say companies are more mature now, and these changes allow...
Worst advice ever, yeah. Guys, it's bad advice to get out before a Ponzi scheme takes over. How fucking dumb are you? Ron, here's the thing, and this is why it's good advice. This stock is going to skyrocket and then plummet. So it's actually good fucking advice. If it skyrockets and doesn't plummet, it's because nobody sold. I'm actually giving you great advice. You said earlier, retirement accounts are at all-time highs. I mean, that happens with every president. But what they always tell you is like, don't try and time the market. This isn't one of those times you have to try and time the market. This is saying, here's a scam. I can get out when it's high. I can avoid the dip. And I can get back in after they're all fucked over. This is actually, if I'm right, this is some of the best financial advice you'll ever get in your life. Now, you should figure out if I'm right or not. I am just some guy. But if I'm right about this, I'm telling you to get out at the peak and buy at the dip. And that would be great fucking advice.
The index to better represent the market. The opposition came from regular investors concerned about buying unproven companies at high prices. But the rule change isn't the goal. The goal is what the rule change enables, a plan with 4 different steps. Like everything, the price of a stock is based on supply and demand. How do you increase the price? 1. Artificial scarcity. Most IPOs offer 15 to 20% of their shares to the public. SpaceX, less than 5.
2. Of those shares, retail investors get 30%, or up to 3 times the normal allocation. Remember, Main Street over Wall Street.
Combined, a bunch of demand and a small supply.
That wasn't me. Says, for being my tribe, thank you for the $50 over on Cash App. Wasn't me in the chat.
That means a higher than normal price. 3. 15 trading days after the IPO, SpaceX enters the NASDAQ 100. Any index fund tracking the NASDAQ 100 now...
I can give it, and again, not financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor, but my lady Hernandez said, like, how do I avoid this? SpaceX, when is SpaceX... IPO. It's on June 12th. On June 12th, that's when you're supposed to see SpaceX on the NASDAQ. So what I would do is I would anywhere where you're invested in a mutual fund that includes the top 100, I would pull all of my money out of that mutual fund. Talk to your financial advisor. Pull it all out. Now, your financial advisor is going to tell you no, but they're incentivized to do this. Financial advisors notoriously always miss obvious frauds. What I will do, and I can tell you, like, I'm personally in 2 mutual funds. I'll be pulling my money out at the beginning of June, and then I will wait until we'll see. Like, it depends. Like, this could go well if enough people invest in it. But I would hope, I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to be involved in my money going to bail these people out. If we could get enough people on board for this, you would see the SpaceX IPO plummet, and then I would buy back in to my mutual fund 2 or 3 weeks later. I guess it depends on when the stock drops. But that's my plan. Again, not financial advice, just my opinion.
To buy SpaceX.
You have this wall of money coming from index funds that it has to buy no matter what the price.
Turbocharging the price. Step 4, let early investors cash out. There are restrictions on this, a lockup period. Same idea as seasoning. The people who know the most aren't allowed to sell until the market has had time to actually figure out what the stock is worth. According to SpaceX's own IPO filing, Elon has to wait a year. But some early investors can begin cashing out before the standard 180 days.
Okay, there's the answer then, before the standard 180 days. So we need to find out how many days before they can cash out.
The people buying as the price rises? Retirement savers.
Will this affect IRAs and 401ks? Yes.
Index funds. The people selling? If history is any guide, the original SpaceX, Twitter, and XAI investors.
I like to stay optimistic when I can, but the setup there is for some pretty abusive market manipulation. Legal, probably. Ethical, doubtful. And in fact, absolutely not.
None of this works without NASDAQ changing the rules. Musk made sure there was an incentive to do so.
NASDAQ is both an index provider and an exchange.
Ben Schifrin spent 18 years at the Security and Exchange Commission, which oversees the stock market.
You know, it kind of used to be the case that the exchange wasn't really supposed to be this for-profit money-making entity, but now it is.
When you say technically we'll get our money back, but it'll be way less than we could have, I don't know if it's technically you'll get your money back. It's technically you will eventually, because the stock market goes up, you'll eventually recoup those gains, but you will still have lost money.
Stock exchanges compete for every major listing, New York and NASDAQ.
Or the NASDAQ stock exchange, having
that's a good point too, Monorelics. I'm not sure if my fund will have SpaceX. I'm almost entirely invested in emerging markets. You talk to your financial advisor, or if you are a financial advisor, look into that. If you're in a fund that won't include SpaceX, then don't worry about it.
SpaceX is a big win. You want big, prestigious tech companies to go public there, and the New York Stock Exchange wants them to go public on the New York Stock Exchange.
SpaceX was the prize. Musk knew it. According to Reuters, Musk conditioned where SpaceX would list on one thing: fast-track SpaceX into their major index.
It's all gravy for NASDAQ.
SpaceX pays NASDAQ to list their stock. The real money is somewhere else.
All the data and trading fees that they then sell over time, year after year, to other trading firms, to asset managers.
NASDAQ changed a rule that shapes trillions of dollars in retirement savings. No regulator approved it.
If an index wants to change.
What happens when the stock goes down, but then you buy back your mutual fund? Then don't you end up buying SpaceX in the index fund? Yeah. So if the stock goes down, when it goes down, that'll be because people sold, right? Or people didn't buy. I don't want to be in a mutual fund that has SpaceX. Ideally, if you got enough people into this, SpaceX wouldn't be included in your mutual fund because it wouldn't be in the top 100 companies. Ideally, that's what you would like to see. But yeah, if you bought back in and SpaceX was in the top 100 companies, then potentially you could be reinvesting in SpaceX.
Change how it's going to include certain stocks in that particular index. That is not something that has to be approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Upwards of $30 trillion is being directed by a process that's effectively self-regulated.
I think at some point we are going to have to say that these are incredibly influential investment advisors in practice, and they should be regulated and supervised accordingly.
Because it's not just SpaceX or NASDAQ.
You can see how, one index provider getting the ball rolling would perhaps lead other index providers to follow.
You've probably heard of the S&P 500.
That's actually a good guess there. In my opinion, eventually they're going to roll SpaceX into Tesla and force everyone who holds SP 500 and NASDAQ 100 into it. Yeah. Especially if this goes poorly, then exactly they'll roll Tesla in. But they've got to do that quickly while Donald Trump is still in office, because it's obvious what they're doing. It's obvious. Like, there is no reason for Twitter and SpaceX to be one company. No, it doesn't make any fucking sense. They're just allowed to do that because they paid for it.
Powerful index in the world. Bloomberg reported the S&P is considering its own version of what NASDAQ just did. They'd shorten the seasoning period, and they'd let the largest companies in without ever showing a profit. The reason isn't a mystery. OpenAI and Anthropic are both expected to go public this year at massive valuations. Neither is profitable. There's no regulator watching. The only check is the index provider's own internal comment process. NASDAQ just ran one of those. When I asked NASDAQ if the change was made because SpaceX demanded it, and if there's a conflict of interest in being both an exchange and an index provider, NASDAQ never answered the conflict of interest question, but did say that the rule change reflects how markets have evolved. The consultation, they said, followed industry standards. The S&P is running the same playbook on the biggest index in the world. Their comment period is open. It closes in early June. Anyone can submit a comment, including you.
There you go. Tired of this rigged shit. Tired of this rigged economy. Tired of Donald Trump. Tired of the billionaires. We can fight back. It's time. Stopping to remind you to uninstall yourself, loser. It's a good one. Thank you. Thanks for coming by for that. All right, guys. That's it for me this week. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm gonna spend the weekend with my daughter. One of those rare weekends I have her all weekend, so I'm really excited about that. So you won't see shit from me until Monday. But until I see you guys on Monday, take care of yourselves. Let me make sure I get all the comments here. I think I got all of them. Jen, did I miss anything?
Did you get Jamar's?
Yeah, I did. I got that one.
Okay.
All right, guys. Until I see you again on Monday, take care of yourselves. Go outside and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass. If you can't touch grass or smoke grass, best of luck to you. Be nice to your friends, your family, and those that are around you. But most importantly, be nice to yourself. Look in the mirror and compliment yourself, and really try and feel it. That's important. Drink lots of water. Stay hydrated. Get your boots. Put them on. Pull yourself up by the boot straps, and then put those boots on the ground. And until I see you guys bright and early Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here on Twitch, TikTok, or YouTube, I will be thinking about you fondly. Have a great weekend, and stay cute and cool. Have a great summer.